downtick here for PPI, year-over-year PPI for October, 1.3% down here versus 1.9% reading expected. So 2 days in a row here, we're getting inflation data heading in the right direction. Core PPI year-over-year, 2.4 there versus 2.7 expected. So both on the core side and the headline number coming in to the downside. If you take out food and energy, 0.1% on the month-over-month, 2.9% on the year-over-year number there as well. We also got this, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, 9.1 versus a negative reading expected there around the 3 mark for New York Fed Empire Manufacturing. Core PPI, again, month-over-month, dead flat right across the board. So 2 days in a row, as I mentioned, market getting a pop here for inflation data. Nowhere near what we saw yesterday at this time on that CPI number, but hey, we'll take it. We're finally seeing some progress as far as the inflation fight is concerned. Ton of things to talk about this morning. More retail earnings coming through. Target, TJX looking good. We'll touch on that. A ton of headlines, ton of catalysts surrounding not only China in general this morning, but Chinese ADRs all looking pretty good to start things off here this morning. It's Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. Futures now heading back downside. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, back to the downside we go here ever so slightly after that initial pop higher. Still positive on the morning, but what a move this has been. This is a daily chart over here. We are gapping to the upside, obviously, but bit of a fade underway here coming off that data. Again, if you missed it, across the board, 2 days in a row here, inflation data coming in the right direction. PPI this morning, producer prices. Yesterday, obviously, the CPI. More closely watched number when it comes to inflation for the overall market. Retail sales coming through there as well. Negative 0.1% on the month-over-month versus negative 0.3% expected there for October retail sales. So we'll see how this plays out for the overall market. A few more Fed speakers coming through this morning. Yeah, back downside here a little bit for the NASDAQ right now. Again, nowhere near what we saw yesterday, but 2 days in a row here, inflation data looking good.
Yeah, not bad, especially after the tougher prints we've been having. Interesting here, PPI coming in much below expectations. We'll have to see how the market digests that. I'm thinking soft landing in my head, but we'll have to wait and see. As Brendo mentioned, we also had retail earnings this morning. Interesting report from TJX. Looks like they did really good on profit, but revenue is down. People are spending less. We'll have to wait and see how that works out.
Yeah, interesting move here for the overall market. 0.3% now for the S&P, about 0.5% for the NASDAQ. Back downside we go after, yesterday was so impressive all day long. No sign of really a pullback all day. We got a little one late in the afternoon, but that was really it. So maybe a little profit taking underway. Neil's back with us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, and a good morning it is. July highs on the Qs. Yesterday, a bit of a pullback. The pullback in the market, we failed the 16,000 level. If you look at the Qs, it was a breakout, and that just failed. But the other thing to keep in mind as we get right into it is you are touching this top. I think it was the 19th of July where you got this high. We tagged it in the pre-market already, so that's the impressive one. And forget about TJX. It's about Target in retail, up 13%. Well, sometimes it matters more where you've come from than where you're going, and I think that's the indication today. Look, they beat on the top and the bottom. We'll get into this in terms of an earnings play. But the percentage move is going to be very big because of how far it moved to the downside. So easier to move up 13% when all that goodness has happened. It's running into a little bit of resistance as it gets into these high 120s and 130s. All the EVs are going to be in play, but keep an eye on those Chinese ADRs today. JD reported Pinduoduo broke out of that big level on the daily, so that should be pretty exciting. And thankfully, NEO didn't bounce off $7 exactly yesterday. I mean, it bounced in the vicinity of $7, but everything bounced yesterday. So I can't say that I missed the trade I was waiting for because, it wasn't exactly set up. But although you couldn't have lost if you went long on pretty much anything yesterday. When I was going over charts, I didn't actually find anything that was weak. I'm sure there was something out there, but I didn't find anything that had a bad day, particularly that I looked at. But I'm sure something stunk yesterday?
It had to be something. I don't know. I don't think anything stunk that bad. There's obviously some good shorts intraday and stuff like that. But yeah, look, I've already called 280 Tesla by the end of the year. That was, we've already talked about getting longer. We talked about getting longer a couple weeks ago. Well, whatever day Fed was, I can't remember what day that was. And then now you're going upside again here. So I just, it's great. We talked about this earlier. It's great to wake up and not feel the pain of all of your longs. The NASDAQ is 5% away from all-time highs. The S&P 500 is 6% away from all-time highs. Considering everything that we've been through, I think that's absolutely fantastic. It just goes to prove that dollar cost averaging on names that you like, names that actually produce equitable returns as far as EPS, companies that are actually making money, so on and so forth. If you've sort of stayed the course with all of those names, you should be now close enough to back to your all-time highs on your account. I don't know what people hold, but it's been pretty good for that. Palantir's an early position for me, bouncing off that $20 level. We're long right now. Let's see what happens. We don't like to get too long anything in the pre-market, but this stock has been so super amazing. I love this name, and this is another reason why the portfolio is blasting right now. It's Palantir. It's a lot of these names. ARC up 4 or 5% yesterday as well. Let's just see what happens in Palantir. It could break through $20. The market's not liking PPI as much as they did CPI yesterday, as it came in 1.3 versus 1. So it's a little hotter than expected instead of cooler. So we'll wait to see what happens here with the market today. But I don't see any signs of this thing pulling back. You're going to hit 60. Well, you already did break 16,000. So like I said, 5% away from all-time highs here in the NASDAQ.
All right, let's recap here what we just got there at 8:30. A few people still joining us a little bit late if you missed it. Retail sales month over month for October, negative 0.1 versus negative 0.3 expected there. PPI across the board heading in the right direction as well as we saw with CPI yesterday. So a good look for inflation for the most part. I want to talk about this right out of the gate here because a lot of people were mentioning this not only late yesterday but this morning as well. Michael Burry short semiconductors to the tune of 47 million. And this all comes back to SOX, SOXX, the ETF. Picked up a ton of puts on SOX, which holds all of these. NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, Intel, TXN. So looking for some downside, I guess, in semiconductors. Also, 2,500 put options on Booking Holdings as well, BKNG. It's 13F season, so we'll get a whole bunch of these funds coming out revealing what they did last quarter, what their positions are going into the remaining months here of the year and the quarter. But interesting for Mr. Burry.
Yeah, I didn't get to look at the entire report there, but I saw people in the chat talking about it yesterday, so I was aware of it. He's like the contrarian extraordinaire. I mean, he really does take these positions, and he sticks his neck out. Let's see how he does. Obviously, betting against NVIDIA in a very aggressive AI environment should be very interesting to see how that works out. I'm not making a call either way, but interesting. It should be like today we should be really talking about the Xi and Biden meeting, but there's just so much else going on that it's really been overshadowed.
Yeah, I mean, it might end up being just formality at this point. We'll see. Obviously meeting out on the West Coast, so timing will be interesting. I haven't actually seen an exact time that they're trying to arrange this and make it happen.
Same.
So we'll keep an eye out for anything that comes from that. Here is NVIDIA back downside right now with the overall market, but still, I mean, huge yesterday, guys.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my God. See, okay, what's up, Randy? Michael Burry is betting against the entire semiconductor industry right now. The good news for news for Michael is there was a very good down channel in the SOX, which was one of the best looking trends. It's like a higher, lower highs, lower lows. The bad news is it literally just broke the trend, that trend to the upside. So that's, I don't know, like what, but like it is what it is. It's just like from a trend standpoint, it just broke the other way. Maybe call it not yesterday. It was probably already did that, so I call it last week. But Tesla yesterday. Wow, we were. So what are we doing here? Because there's like Rivian didn't really follow that much. What are you thinking? Who's going to follow Tesla? Because Tesla was really the big boy yesterday, and you had Fisker get destroyed, you had Rivian not follow through. So who's gonna pick up some slack in the EV space? He whispered Volkswagen, everybody. All in Volkswagen. Just like you said, just like we're all in on XOM, which you didn't buy. A little bit of BYD?
Sticky note is out.
A little bit of BYD, he apparently. Why are you slapping the fail on BYD? Oh, because he didn't say... Sharif slapped the fail because he didn't say Li Auto. Oh, come on, Sharif. There's more than one Chinese EV company out there. Everybody can have a win. It's entirely possible, brother.
What are you bringing me in for? What did I do?
I don't know. So I was just trying to find some articles because I tweeted something out before about how epically wrong Michael Burry's been in the past, right? And so you guys follow it, whatever. There's Scion Capital. I mean, he has, investor money and everything like that. So I think, who knows? Remember he shorted Tesla, and there was a whole bunch of things, but he was on the GameStop and everything early, so I could see getting some love there. I've already talked about going long, and we've already made a lot of money. Those of you watching the recap show and everything like that, when we talked about SMH down here, very similar, obviously, to SOXL, but just a 1-to-1 here. That bounced off 140 on the daily 200 period. I don't know why it's up there right now. Because you didn't have the split adjust, that's why. But anyways, that's where the 200 period is. Now you're actually breaking out above its summertime high, just like the NASDAQ and everything else. So I think the call is bold, but I don't think it's offside because you're only a few days away now until NVIDIA earnings. The last time we already talked about this. This was their record quarter right here last time on August 23rd. So they came out, they guided higher, they beat, they talked everything you wanted to hear. It was absolutely amazing. And then the stock fell 25%. So, well, it fell 100 on 50. So it fell 20% on 500. So it fell 20% after a record report. Now you have NVIDIA 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 straight days up. We talked about this yesterday on the recap show again. Thanks to Brendan for that. 10 straight up days. If you're going to fade something, maybe now. So I don't hate the call. I think it's fine. It makes sense to me. Let's wait to see what happens. And indeed, yesterday, we talked about what we were doing on AMD, and we were going short on AMD all day yesterday. And you saw sort of some of that reaction. We actually wrote down on the 122 short. There's 122 right there. And then it drops into 119. So there is going to be weakness here in the semis. And I actually sticky notes out. I saw everyone asking in the chat. I'm still going to be shorting in and around here, 120. Now, I don't know if it's going to be gone now or not.
I don't know if we see that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're long Palantir, but right into that's just a bad tick. But right into there, 121, 122. I think this is going to be a good shorting area for AMD today, especially if this market seems to want to continue its little bit of a downward spiral here off that PPI number. Now breaking back below 16,000, now hitting below VWAP. And yeah, there's going to be something to go with here into pre-market lows. So let's wait to see what happens with the NASDAQ here. If you're just going to look at there goes my chart, of course, crashing. If you're going to look at yesterday, it's 15.8. So if you're going to drop down anywhere, we're going to have 15.9, a little bit of a support there. That's going to be coming in probably pretty soon. And then if we really do drop down, I'll be sitting there open hands buying these longs at 15.8 if we get anywhere into that. So a little bit of a possibility for a downside push here today. Let's see what this market has in store for us.
All right, let's touch on some Chinese ADR action here. We'll get into the group because there's a ton of different things here. But I want to start with this one. JD.com up, retail sales over in China better than expected. JD.com earnings better than expected. So back above 28 here. We're coming into some lows, though, for October. What is this, 7% right now for JD?
Yeah, JD, PDD, BABA, these should all be on watch today because we got Chinese retail data and industrial data and real estate data overnight. Let's talk a little bit about that. 7.6% growth in October for Chinese retail sales. That's above the 7% the analysts were looking for. Auto-related sales grew 11.4% year over year in October. To me, that's important because you guys know I'm invested in Li Auto, so I want to see how the auto did. Non-physical goods, for online sales, and this was a troublesome area. So online sales were down 3.7%, but for goods, for non-related goods, online sales up 40% year over year. The industrial production rose 4.6%, and real estate still down 9.3% year over year.
Yeah, so positive, as we said, across the board here for ADRs this morning, but lots of individual. Xpeng, another one, guys, with earnings.
Yeah, Xpeng was actually a bit disappointing. I'm sure Sharif will be happy to hear that, being a competitor of said Li Auto. But JD, Pinduoduo is the one I'm watching today, but JD, if you respect 28, you look at where this has come from, it's put in some higher lows, but you see this, it's not really a W pattern, but this is the 28 resistance, from support to resistance to the 50 period, taking it out today. You just feel like you already broke out off this level like a half an hour ago, unfortunately, or like 40 minutes ago. So if it pulls back in, it has to get pretty close to set up anything for risk to reward. Whereas Pinduoduo, if you're looking at the Chinese ADRs, you remember that 111 top. When I left, it was resistance, and yesterday it was actually the same level of resistance. And breaking out of this triple top on the daily, it's really more than triple top, but it was like multiple days that you'd be at this high every time it got there. As long as it holds above 112, I'd look for long. If it tries to fill in that gap, they can drop a couple of bucks and get into that previous high and be a good long. But the other thing I wanted to point out, and I wasn't here yesterday, but you don't see this very often, and when this kind of a trade sets itself up at the open, sometimes you want to pay attention to it, because Pinduoduo more or less wicked the exact same high, which was the resistance on the daily, and then dropped $4 at the open on Monday, then it did the exact same thing on Tuesday. Like that's the key about good resistance levels. That was big resistance on the daily. You saw it fail it at the open on Monday, then it failed it at the open yesterday, essentially bouncing about the same support level. Now you've cleared out the top. I'm looking for that resistance to turn into some support. As Randy refills the coffees.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Little almond milk for Sean there, black for me.
Maybe, potentially. Kahlua.
Well, I mean, they look different, so something has to be different.
Okay, so I'm just going to do the same trade that we did yesterday on Shopify. And that is, when there's a gap, let's wait for VWAP. So we'll wait to see if it can come back in here for Alibaba, back down to 86.50, 86.40, something like that, back in here for Alibaba. So we'll wait to see if there's going to be any sort of a fill back in. I like this name. It's breaking higher. We're now above the 50-period moving average. It's funny how things change so quickly around here. I was hating on this stock in the mid-range here, was waiting for it to drop into 78, 80 bucks with that bottom. Doesn't look like you're going to get that. It's a nice gap up there for Alibaba, taking out the 50 period. Shout out to Shakib and everybody else out there that's watching, that's been really liking Alibaba and saying that, there's some value there. And I've been agreeing with you. I've stayed long this name, haven't sold any of it, but I'm long over 100 bucks. So not a good one, but watch out for this $88 possible break right there. We'll see about a fade if it gets up to that, but I really want to go long. So what we'll wind up doing is waiting for this name to pull back. I'm going to add Alibaba to my little list here. I should have looked at it earlier. I actually didn't even look at any Chinese names. The biggest thing to invest in here, and again, as I get older and wiser, these ETFs are just pretty simple to trade if you use some basic rules, right? Watch the 50 period, watch the 200 period, look for support and resistance, and try to play a little bit of a macro side of things when you're playing on some ETFs, which is why I love that SMH down there at 140, which is why we liked oil, and there's been a whole bunch of different places where we've used that. So the FXI right now is large cap China. So if you didn't want to worry about the fluctuations between JD one day, Tencent another, Pinduoduo, Baba, the EVs, all that, you can just get long, and you're not going to get the returns that you are on individual names. But I like this move to the upside here, 25 bucks up to 27. I think this is a fade once you get eventually to 30. That's a ways away. So this is going to be the short. The first short that I look for is going to be large cap China, but it's not going to be until about 30 bucks. You got a couple percentage points higher from here, guys.
We're just reading a note here on VUZI. It's not really doing anything, but I mean, had a huge day yesterday. Vuzix Corporation up here 3%, trying to add to gains from the overall market move yesterday. So this company makes electronic components, or it's an equipment maker, but they make components for electronics. entering into a partnership with Quanta Computer, and they're going to create the display engine for smart glasses. So we saw Meta come out, obviously, I think it was last month.
Yeah.
Time is just a blur at this point, so I think it was last month, with their smart glasses, which are really cool, apparently, from what I've been reading. So here's VUZI trying to get in that game.
Yeah, and a $200 price point for those glasses, US, obviously. We'll have to wait and see what they come at as Canadian. But yeah, a nice competition here. We'll have to see how much they incorporate AI into the use of those glasses. So yeah, I don't really have much more information other than this quick headline over here, but we'll have to see how this trades.
This is one that can get going if it wants to, so worth a note here for VUZI this morning.
Vuzi, you gotta say it right. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. When we talk about names like this, I always think about, okay, if it's can you squeeze, where do you squeeze, where are people in trouble? I don't know that that's. Like you might have something happen at $2, but I think it's a bit of a bigger deal if it gets through 270. So, yes, 250, but certainly when you look at the last couple of sessions, once you get that back above 270, things get very interesting. It's got the wipeout bottom. Now, if you take out the 270, you kind of feel like $3 is where a stock like that wants to get to in terms of just looking at the levels where there's a lot of transacting. So it's already step one, made that wipeout bottom, probably trapped a few shorts down there. You got some profit taking on what shorts are going to remain. And that's always going to be a bit of a key. Just going back, if I can, quickly to the market, that NASDAQ holding up pretty, I mean, given the fact that you just wicked above and below that 16,000, holding up pretty decently right around where you had this consolidation, like 15 quarter or so. So a decent dip buy in there. If you like some things, I got my intel out. I was looking for like 39 quarter. It got to 39.4. So I'm going to get something out there in front of the 39.4 where that saw closed. But yeah, the market did pull back. However, not exactly, you didn't go red on the day. It didn't take out any of the support levels from overnight. So at least for now, some stabilization coming back in after that retail number.
Oh, man. All right. We've just, the only position I have right now is going to be Palantir. I just bought some more 05s, just trying to bounce off a little bit. It just bounced off 20 bucks. Should have been a little more patient with it. When that PPI number, these are small shares. You can see my average price is 16s now. So we put in some small positions there when it broke higher off the open, just to, I don't know, I just thought, okay, here goes Palantir. It's above 20. It was on the sticky note. We liked it, but here a little bit of a fade in now, so watch out. I wrote down 1975, but if we break too much lower below this 1990 area, they're sort of where we closed yesterday. You can see it was really barcoded into this area, so that's 19. I mean, anyways, if it gets into 1990, I'm just going to probably, how many shares? I'm going to get out of like 75% of this. So if we drop too much lower right now, it's just there's still a half hour left. We're really, we've been really on one, so we don't need to lose rate now on this name. So we thought we'd take the risk there. If the market does bounce back, great. But right now, stuck long, PLTR, 16 cents out of the money.
All right, let's get some analyst moves for you to kick things off on Wednesday morning here. Some upgrades and downgrades with Adira over at the screen.
We first have an upgrade from BofA Securities for American Eagle. We also have Wix with an upgrade from Barclays. Barclays also upgrading Amex. And then last but not least, Generax, an upgrade from BofA Securities there. For downgrades, we have JP Morgan Chase downgrading Canadian Solar. Energizer trading much lower after downgrade from Morgan Stanley. Definitely keep an eye on that one. We also have Bristol Myers Squibb getting a downgrade from Cantor Fitzgerald. Last but not least for downgrades, Redbird Atlantic downgrading RTX. Keep an eye on those names, guys.
Yeah, the one on that list, which, well, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of, they're not big tradable names out there, but if you look at least what, oh, I got a bad wick in my AXP daily chart. Let me just get my trade ideas up there, and because I like looking at that a little bit more clean. Let's keep it clean. If you look at least what American Express is doing, this is in the midst of a breakout. I mean, what isn't? Like every time I pull up a daily chart, I'm probably gonna say something like it's in the midst of a breakout, but it is. And that gets interesting because since you've taken out this 155 after report, you also hold on to the 50-period moving average there on the daily. Like that's the kind of move that has room. It's only like $4 or $5, but it's not like this stock moves a ton. in a daily basis. So it is in the midst of a nice breakout here above the 155. I think 160, that 200 period has been a little bit of a problem since it got underneath it. So if it does get up there, I think you get above 160, you're probably looking for a bit of a reversal pattern. But that's the name that would stand out, at least on that list. And truthfully, it's like of those 8 names, it's the one chart I'd actually looked at in the last week. So AXP, I like where it's at. It's a good harbinger for the markets. The only downside, even that retail sales coming through there, maybe you'd want a little bit more out of that to put that trade on. But there's worse looking opportunities than this particular kind of setup where you're breaking out previous resistance, which gives you a defined exit point either locally here at 155, or if you're like swinging it, you have the 50 period moving average underneath there at like 151 as a bit of a base. So AXP, I don't know if that's a trade for me with no volume, but that setup looks pretty good.
I saw Solar name on there, Canadian Solar, but that reminds me of Enphase, so shout out to Reliable Rudy. And anybody that's really believed in this name, I mean, it's been a hard hold, obviously, since October 1st. It was up to 130 bucks. Look at this drop down. Now you're getting some bases down here at $80 and a huge move yesterday. This was not surprising because, like we said, every single name was up huge yesterday. The IWM itself, the Russell 2000, was up 5%. So there it goes. Enphase right there with the fact of the matter is the Fed will not be raising rates anymore, and that is a good sign for Enphase. So there it goes right back up to the upside. You've seen SEDG as well, Solar Edge. Again, another huge move. The TAN ETF, monster move if you want to get some First Solar and stuff like that in there. So again, yesterday 70 to 80. So it looks like Enphase is the big winner, and then here's TAN. Like I said, I'm almost done investing in individual names. I mean, I already have. My portfolio is already like 30 names deep, but new money, why not just put it to work on ETFs where you don't have to individually pick names? Same thing with cannabis or anything like that. So down into here, $40, $42. I mean, that was a great long down in there for TAN. It got really beat up. So if solar is eventually going to start to go, it was on the downgrade side. So I don't know what's going to happen to some of these names today, but just looking at it yesterday, we do talk about these names all the time. And again, with refinancing, with making these solar panels a little more affordable, hopefully a bump down in rates. So if we can start to go the other way here, just like home builders. You see home builders yesterday, there's a lot. Real estate yesterday. Once they start, like you think housing prices are out of line right now, wait till that first cut starts to happen. Then you're going to see some explosions in the real estate market. So I'm excited for that, obviously. Doesn't matter when you're already in a house, but Enphase, I think, tells us what's going to happen here if we start to drop rates. Enphase may be a buy if it dips back down into that $80 range.
A couple other things of note here this morning. We talked about Blink a little bit yesterday morning, BLNK. Plug back to the upside as well. This thing has just been destroyed. Coming off their note on going concerns following their earnings report. So plug back higher here again today, 2.4%. Huge day yesterday with the overall market. Blink charging another one, as I mentioned, back to the upside again this morning. So there's a lot of the smaller names that popped up over the past couple of days, yesterday specifically, with money, rotating out of some of the other areas of the market, getting put back to work with a little bit higher risk appetite.
Absolutely. Russell was absolutely flying yesterday, and that's because the interest rate environment's easing up a little bit. With these smaller caps, they really do have a hard time in elevated rate environments because they have to go and generate cash, or they have to, raise cash at higher rates, and that obviously hurts their bottom line. So you saw Blink charging, you saw a lot of other names moving yesterday. I don't know if I'm part of the bull case on Blink charging. I think that the Tesla technology is kind of superseding that, and all these big companies are adopting Tesla's North American standard. Where does that leave Blink charging and other players like ChargePoint? We're going to have to wait and see.
Here is the IWM. I think it was 5.5% or more even at the end of the day. Yesterday, 0.3% right now. Just came back into essentially where we closed yesterday. But yeah, huge day for small caps yesterday.
Oh, I mean, obviously, everything was big, but I mean, you get 5 points on the Russell. Like that's just, it's super impressive. And we've been looking at that bottoming out a little bit here, but there's one name that you mentioned, which I think is obviously a little bit different from the rest. You can say what you want about Blink. We remember the Plug Power. Anytime you talk about going concern, it's still underneath $5. It's made a relief rally, so that's already happened. Well, okay, fine. It's made a relief rally day, so that kind of push has already happened. And you're looking, it's trying to fill in this gap. So I see it at like 430 here. You have the $5 level on the daily chart as well. If it pops off this 430 or 425, essentially where it closed, I'm looking right at that $5 level for sure. I just paid for the locates or like a quarter of a cent per share here at Day Trade the World to be able to short it. But this stock continues to, if it continues and makes another press up, I want to look for that pop and fade trade on Plug Power. So that is one name that I would look to short if it shows a lot of strength right at 930. It's just a matter of being patient. Like everything, it dipped a little bit off of that PPI number. It's a little bit of a pullback. Never really broke it out. But the reason I always believe that it can go higher is just shorts covering. So if it takes out that top, I think some stops get run, and then I look for an explosive move to try to short this one right around that $5 level. If it doesn't get there, then I look for something underneath that for a bit of a curl and just be patient with it. If it starts going, remember it has that squeeze potential, and you always want to pay attention to when the tape slows down a little bit, shows you a lower high, and then an effort to get in instead of just sort of taking it on the chin on the way up. Because it's not SSR or anything. It's not like you can't hit the bid.
Oh, man. And in sticking with our theme of breaking news, in what was maybe one of the worst signings in NFL history, maybe Deshaun Watson now done for the year. So, I mean,
it's his season?
Yeah, I mean,
I got Elijah Moore.
Those guys are jokers over there
what?
in Cleveland. Well, he's been out for a while. Remember, he's probably not even hurt. He was just saying that his arm was hurting, and I don't know. Ridiculous. Okay, so that's Deshaun Watson. All right.
$45 million guaranteed a year.
Yeah, no, it's a joke. What they gave that guy. I wanted to look at. Okay. So yesterday we had Tesla making moves early, right? Remember we talked about how this name likes to go and jump around there early. So we did have this nice drop down in yesterday, then a nice move back up, then to the 200 period. So I still feel the same way about Tesla. As the market goes to the downside a little bit here, it's bouncing back now, but as the market moves, Tesla, nice move down. Holding the 200 period underneath. So what I'd like to see now for Tesla is back into these areas that we wrote down here on our, yeah, I know he just beat Baltimore. I'm just saying it's too bad that Deshaun Watson, I mean, the thing is you never want to pay all that money for a quarterback, regardless of what you think about your team, and then have to go to your second string or third string, that PJ Walker guy. I know he's pretty good, but the Cleveland defense is pretty hot. I was actually excited that if Deshaun Watson started to play a little bit better, that, that defense would be able to carry them and possibly to the AFC, I don't know about championship game, but farther in the playoffs. It's still possible. But anyways, 236, 238 was sort of the dip down level that I was thinking about for Tesla. So this is the name here that's getting me excited because we just also did bounce off 239. So there is some love here somewhere for Tesla. We just need to find it, and I think it's going to be early. 50,000 shares on the offer as well right now at 240. So let's wait to see what happens down here at 237 and change for Tesla. So that's going to be a dip buy opportunity for your boy.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know as we head towards the open here on a Wednesday. Sharif's going to kick things off, as always, with a look at the overall market.
45.11, Brendo. That's where we closed off on the ES today. We're well over that now, 45.25. The spike there on the PPI took us to 45.41. Resistance levels takes us all the way back to mid-September. We're looking at that 45.60 in the face. That's where we crested out over a period of 2 days. Let's see number one. Do we hold the low, 45.14, that 45.11, which is support from yesterday? If we do hold it, do we break above this 45.41 algo spike and make our way up to 45.60? Let's see.
Just hearing there's Disney moving around right now. A bit of a volume spike here for Disney to the upside. Just keep an eye out for that. Just hearing some activist investor action, possibly, guys, on Disney. So that's moving around as well. Meanwhile, let's talk about everything else that's on the watch list this morning. If you haven't done so, Very easy, watchlist.tradertv.live. You can scan the QR code as well. It takes you right there, enter your email address, and then you get that for free every single day. Here's Target, 14% right now to the upside. Been a while since we've been able to say that about a retailer. Forecast was good, numbers decent here as well for TGT.
Yeah, here's the story, guys. Purchases in high-frequency categories like food and beauty helped prop up their sales. However, shoppers aren't buying much more than the necessities. They're hungry for lower prices, and when they do make purchases, they're postponing them. Bigger purchases are being kicked down the road. Let's talk about income, though. Up 36% year over year on the quarter, all the while revenue decreased. What does that mean? That means cost cutting and tighter margins. They also didn't have the glut of inventory that they had last year when they overbought and had to actually mark it down in order to move it. So revenue came in lower than expected, or sorry, not lower than expected, lower year over year, but profit through the roof. Some 2023 challenges, we know about this. We know about the Pride Month issue. We know about the organized retail crime, the shrinkage that they talked about. And they closed some stores, obviously, because of that issues. But better sales back in focus, Brendo.
Yeah, this is a huge move for Target. Here's Disney right now as well, guys. Still testing 92 at day highs here, 1%. Still going to try and grab this headline for us. But again, CNBC reporting it looks like some activist activity possibly for Disney.
Yeah, I'm on the bid for the breakout of Disney. Well, okay, obviously it already broke out this high, but we're sort of looking at this after earnings when it pulled back, when Obi was here, and I was like, yeah, I want this breakout in the morning, and then it never really broke out because it couldn't take out this top. So the 200 period is sitting right there at 91.30-ish. If it dips back in front of 91.5, I want to be able to get into this and then sort of give it to the afternoon support level. Like I want to be long in here to there, activist or whatever the catalyst might be. That's just a standard breakout. Target is a different, like Target, look, it's up 14% because of what happened to them. And I don't know that quarter would give you 14% if in other circumstances here. So when you had this whole nobody wants to touch Target with a 10-foot pole, the stock, and then you had other things weighing on retail, that's going to be the trouble. Now, can it actually push through a second level? I don't know. There's a lot of chop in here, 128 big resistance. Even if you get into 130, then you have all kinds of chop. This is where it put up that big defense for a couple of months and then rolled over again. When I see something like that, I'm expecting there to be sellers when it gets into that top. So as much as it's been pretty strong, that's what you're seeing here today. If it can't break 128, if it doesn't take out that high, I'd be thinking, look for a little bit of a pullback and a dip. And I don't really have a dip buy level that I like. Disney, different story, because catalyst or no catalyst, it's been trying to make the second break for a while now.
Yeah, I really like Disney. I'll have to look it up after. Just looking it up because I think right now, I mean, we're in the money on the Disney trade, so that was pretty good because we were buying down there 81, 82. It was pretty nasty there for a while, so that's a good one. We definitely like that. Target, different story. I mean, when everybody hates the stock and then it comes out with a good quarter, this is something that could happen. So there it is, a big middle finger. Kind of reminds me of what I tweeted out earlier today. And I don't know if anybody sort of caught this when I tweeted it out, but there it is right there. Shout out to everybody here in the lovely city of Toronto. So there it is right there. This is Target. Nice little move to the upside right there, giving the big middle finger to all the shorts out there today. So shout out to Ontario and Toronto and everybody that's trading here with us today as we are broadcasting live from the top of the CN Tower. That's what I feel like we're doing every day anyways, where we're there.
Would you ever do edge walk?
No. I've already talked about doing that. My kids want to do it, so I said, okay, here's the money. Go ahead. All right, so there's 130. I'm fading this on Target. We'll see what happens on that name here today. Great quarter, obviously. I don't know if retail is back, but I just don't know if it's back this much. And again, they're just kind of covering up everything in October here, right? And so we're going to have more retail coming through. We had TJX near that $90 mark, which is quite nice. And this is a big move for Target, so I still like it. I don't know if you're in the clear yet. Obviously, something up here to 130, 135 would be something to talk about. And just because Neil mentioned it there, what edge walk is that you can actually, there's like little harnesses and things like that that you can hook up here and then just start to like look down and different things like that. So it's called edge walk. I've been up here. I've been up.
Yeah, the observation.
Yeah, because you pay. First of all, it's like $50 to go up, which is kind of ridiculous. So that's what it is there. And then it's another X amount, probably 15 or something like that, to get up to the observation tower. But you can walk around out here. And for me, no, thank you. Well, even when I was like in London, going in the tube and everything, I was like, wow, this is going down there, pretty deep. Right there, good call. Yeah, so there's Neil, as you can clearly see, doing edge walk, and that's pretty risky. And there you can see in the top left there, that's all four of us. There, me, Sharif. Yeah, there it is. Me, Sharif, Brendan. Yeah. So that I know that doesn't look a lot like us. But that's something.
Hold on a second.
What are those like? That's like four. Are those all Chinese ladies? I don't know what that is right there.
But the question becomes, how much would you have to get paid to do it? Like, that's all I'm always interested in. Like, I know I wouldn't do it, but it's like, how much would someone have to? You know what? Like,
for me, it's not even about money. I'm not even.
If it was 5 figures to a charity of my choice, I would do it.
Well, 5 figures, of course.
Because I look at that.
It's not
when
bad.
I'm at Jay's games and the roof is open.
Yeah.
Like, we look up. Everyone looks up and sees the people doing the edge walk, and people are always like, oh man, I'd love to do this. I'm like, have you been up there before? And they're like, nah. I'm like, well, go up there first and then tell me that how much you'd love to do it.
Yeah, you just have to.
Like,
it's not a surprise.
I'm not even afraid of heights. I just just not that. Like, I'm afraid of spiders. I ain't afraid of heights, but I ain't doing that. Just give me a good roller coaster and I'm good to go. Like, I'm happy with that. I'm perfectly happy with that. I'm just saying. All right, let's do some China trade here. Let's go.
Yeah, or not.
All right, CNBC is still talking about this Disney story as well. It's ValueAct, ValueAct Capital. So again, it's 13F season, so we're going to get these headlines coming through of new stakes. This is their 13F coming through after the close last night, so I'm not sure why this is news now. But this is just their holdings, I guess, across their entire fund. But apparently ValueAct building a stake in Disney, so keep that in mind. Yeah, let's talk about China, because there's a ton to consider today, including Biden meeting with Xi out in San Francisco at some point. We don't really know exactly when that's going to take place, but we'll keep an eye out for any kind of headlines that could be market moving, obviously. Xpeng with earnings, JD, as we said, with earnings. The retail data that came out overnight, better than expected. So some of the e-commerce side of things, better than expected to the upside this morning. So a lot of strength here overall outside of Xpeng, kind of the one that's standing out.
Yeah, well, definitely. I keep my eye on the Chinese retailers, especially on ones JD.com, PDD, Alibaba, and the like, because retail sales grew 7.6% month over month in October, higher than the 7% that the street was looking for. With respect to physical goods, though, for online sales, they were down. Non-physical goods were up huge. So I'm assuming travel and experiences and stuff like that, 40% year over year. The real estate sector continues to hurt while industrial production grew a little bit. Urban unemployment in China is still at 5%, and they still won't tell us what youth unemployment is, and they're not going to tell us when they're going to start reporting that again, because that has been one of those things that's really been hurting them.
And obviously yesterday we showed you that Ramin's new favorite car, the Xpeng / minivan that was gold.
Hideous
and
car.
Didn't go over well.
Hideous.
Good for you, Ramin. It is. Yeah, that good for you. It's pretty ugly. Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Xpeng. This is the one, obviously we talked about Pinduoduo, like that one above 112. Maybe it dips back down and gives us that trade. But if you're looking for something showing you like obvious signs of weakness, Xpeng rolling lower highs here. It just failed a 117. If it closed exactly at $17, like even. So that gives you a pretty obvious level to work off of if it does pop back in. So bit of a failure if this $17 level, when you look at that daily chart, if it were to pop and fade, like anything in front there would make some sense to me for a fade trade. Anywhere down at $15 is probably support. I think I'd want to respect that if it got there. Doubting that it even sees that price level. And as we mentioned, I'm looking primarily at PDD, resistance to support. triple top on the daily here at that 112. If it gets down into that price on the open, I'm looking to dip buy. And the thing is, Xpeng, Pinduoduo has dipped at the open like $3-4 a couple of days in a row. Obviously, it's different today in that it's gapping to the upside, but with the Chinese ADRs, don't put anything past them when it comes to looking for an opportunity to buy the dip or even fade a break. Like that 930 move on a lot of these names can be 2-3% and then right back in a matter of minutes. That's what I'm looking for here on PDD.
Yeah, I'm looking for something similar. I just, Baba's already gapped up. I have the play in my pocket where we gap, we wait for a move, wait for a pullback into VWAP. But right now, you're kind of taking out VWAP a little bit because of that move that happened early on PPI. We had a nice little move up there. Well, we had a move down, but then it gapped up into 87, and now you're back down to 86.50. So I don't know if the VWAP will be the play. We have the 200 period here at 85.70. Feel like that's something that I like. So we'll wait to see if 85.70 or something can come into play here. 85.50, a nice little downside push. The 50 period moving average on a daily is at 85 flat. So, I mean, I'm excited about it. And also Disney, I don't know, like nice move up, 93, it's still going. Disney Hotstar sets new streaming record as well in India over for India, New Zealand cricket. So there was Disney owns Hotstar, which set a record as well for streaming, 51 million concurrent viewers or something. So anyways, Disney with that nice move up there. We all know Nelson Peltz is in this name. We've been talking about going long Disney for a bit now. That was a great report. It broke it up. And in fact, we have it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can show you sticky notes that have crazy prices on it. But this is just from a few days ago where we said it was at 88. And I was like, this shouldn't have been dipping down from 90 on their earnings report. So again, make the move back in, and it was on that disgrace of a Marvel movie. Apparently, I never saw it, but just what?
Neither did anybody else.
Right, exactly. So, that was the move down, and for anybody that was able to buy those dips, like we talked about, that was a great opportunity. And now you're getting some value investors coming in here and try to pick up some seats or reorg and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens with Disney here. I think it's going to be a sell, obviously, if this continues. I'd be looking at this, like, even honestly, I was just looking, we're in the money now. So I was thinking about even getting some out here, 94-ish, which was sort of the highs in the summertime. And then you can really get bumped up here where we were before their report when Bob Iger came back on 104 and change would be another area. But 104 from here is only 10%. Like, it's not, I guess it's like 13%, but it's not that huge of a move. No. You could get Disney into this 104 area. I'm not going to sell at 94 today. I'm just saying this is an area to look at if we bounce off of that. And then I just think if you get into this area now, you can take your money and run. Disney does not provide a dividend or anything like that anymore. So nice year of restructuring, all that kind of jazz there for Disney. But it's still hell of expensive to go to Disneyland. You're looking at like $150, $200 a day for the passes. And if you go with my family, then you'd have to buy the express pass.
Got it, yeah.
So I have no idea what that costs. So you're looking at quite an expensive venture. And the other thing is too, do people have the rebuys in them at those prices? So, we'll see. The travel game is already here. There goes Disney right now, breaking through $93. You've seen a nice move in CCL, a nice move in some of the airlines in the last couple of days. Here goes Disney. It's a banger. Congratulations to anybody that got along this name the last couple of days. Relatively risk-free against that 86.
All right, let's go on to Tesla once again. Pretty impressive few days here. 1, 2, 3, now 4 in a row to the upside. Nothing really significant as far as news catalyst today, but was among the leaders yesterday. I was reading a note on Starlink. Apparently, there's SpaceX considering maybe spinning off Starlink as early as 2024 via an IPO. So we might get to trade another Elon company coming up early in the new year, but so strong yesterday. Tesla.
I was just about to say, it was an absolute rocket trading that on the midday show yesterday. Make sure to join us again today. We talk more about risk management, more topics there on the midday, the new format. So with respect to Tesla, The Cybertruck invitations officially being sent out. The date slated to be November 30th. And yeah, mark your calendars because that should be one hell of an event. I can't wait for it myself. With respect to actual fundamentals here, I would suggest to you that the more tame interest rate environment is going to help with Tesla. We heard Elon on the call say that the elevated rates are really hurting demand for his EVs, and he wants to ramp up production of the Cybertruck to about 250,000 a year. He's not going to do that unless he's selling them, and rates need to come down.
GM complimenting Tesla this morning as well, picking up their Giga casting supplier tooling company. That was kind of worth a note as well. GM didn't really move on that, but buying the entire thing because I guess it's working for Tesla.
Yeah, well, Mr. Buffett's out of GM. I'm out of GM, and you know what? I'm selling my Disney if it gets anywhere near that 100. I don't know where exactly I'm going to put my order when the show is done, but I'm going to throw an order out there because I'll be more than happy to get out somewhere around that $100 level. Tesla, rocket ship and all, it got to the 240 level, which is the 50 period simple on the daily chart there. And now, like, the over-under gets pretty simple. Like if we break out from here, great. You're holding the 50 period on the daily. You're holding above yesterday's top. You're staying green. All that good stuff. And then if you do not make this break, it looks like 240 and 240 and a half, 241, let's call it. If you don't make that break, you could fill the gap back in to like 232, 233, and still be pretty bullish because you'd be holding on to yesterday's support levels. So like that's a pretty wide range, and it does favor, you could look for that pullback down about $8 or $9, and if it breaks out this top in the opening range, I'd be looking long above 241. So this set is now setting up like a sit back, relax, have a cognac and all that good stuff until we see that opening range. The difference with Rivian, which I always like to look at when Tesla's going, these nice percentage moves, and the levels sometimes can be a little bit more clear. So this is that 1735 short from last week. There's 1735 from when it quadrupled. Yesterday, tried to get in there, topped out at about the 20 level. Pre-market wicks up there as well. So I think that's the resistance spot for Rivian. If Rivian can break 17 even and still not be breaking out, in my opinion, so I'd want to fade this one until 1775. 1735. If it breaks that, huge gap to the upside. So this is the one I'm going to have my eyes on. And oddly enough, it's still set up for some resistance. Great run off 15 into that level, but you've already made the move. Like there's a run off 15. There's a continuation yesterday. You still got to contend with that 1735 here on Rivian.
Yeah, we've been liking Rivian down there. We talked about some love at that 15 level. We had it looked at it yesterday as well. I'm going to stick with Tesla right now. Again, I like all the talk, man. I like the talk of the price cut or price increases in China. Also, he's parading around. We talked about them with CRM Mark Benioff right now. The Cybertruck is going to be really super hot as well. So I like all that talk. We talked about the Cybertruck starting to roll around, more people getting excited about it. I like the name, I like everything, but if this is going to be if this is a pullback day, I keep saying if, I don't know. The market's still up. We're just pulling back a little bit. I could see Tesla give it up. Just as many people love Tesla and hate Tesla, probably put them in the same basket, weigh them, and it's probably the same. So again, I could see some selling coming in here at the 50 period moving average, 241 and change, but not for me, not for a day trade. I like the long. I'm already bidding right now. I'm bidding down there at 237. So if we do get a dip down in 236, 237 area, as we wrote down on here, then we'll take it. But it's coming in a little bit aggressive here. So the top end of my range is 238, where we closed yesterday. In the aftermarket, we kind of bumped up there at 430, but it's this 237 area. Yesterday's closing spot. Will Tesla go red today is the question. Yeah. If the market goes red, Tesla definitely goes red. So, you're getting close to those sort of dropout points. I'm still looking at 15.8 on the NASDAQ. Right now you're at 15.950. So, yeah. I would just say buckle up, man. This is looking pretty exciting. The way this is coming in right now, though, I know we're almost going to get stopped out on Palantir. There's a big level there at 90, so that's going to be my wipeout level. We've already talked about that earlier. So if that gets wiped out, then we're going to wipe ourselves out and then just say whatever to Palantir. And then we'll make this money back. It's just obviously in a little bit too early. So that's what that play is. But yeah, Tesla making a move into 238 as we speak. I still like the long though. Let's sit there, hold it, and see what happens. 235 would be my kill spot.
Right, we're getting on time here. SoFi on the list here this morning as well. Back downside right now. Was gapping to the upside though. Decent volume behind this already. About 1.5 million shares traded. Broke that level that we closed at yesterday, down 1%. I mean, there's not much. Barclays initiating at a hold essentially, or neutral rating for SoFi, but some coverage for them.
Yeah, analyst Terry Ma there with a price target of $8 on SoFi. That assumes about a 50% upside, or sorry, 50 penny upside from where we are. We're trading at 742 right now. The best we did was in August there when we broke that $11 area, and it's been downward since.
Yeah, pretty good couple of days here. What is it? 3 in a row, I guess, for SoFi to the upside.
Can they make it 4? It's so far it doesn't look like it because you're already gone 1% red now. This channel's been pretty legitimate for a while. I would have thought coming in today, I was like, $8, we get up to $8, fade SoFi. But I don't even know if we're going to get there. Now you're down at 740. There's a buyer at 737 for 100,000 shares just sort of sitting there on the bid. It looks like there would be natural support, like 725, like the quarter-ish, looks where you'd go for the bit of a dip buy. I thought when I sat down, you'd be breaking out this top and then fading $8. Instead, I got to look for somewhere to buy the dip on SoFi, because that's a pretty big move. It never really broke out the top when the number came out. I think waiting around and looking to see if it can bounce off 725 or the 7 even would be the 2 good levels for SoFi, because I can throw away 8. Like the $8 fade's not happening today. That's what I was thinking, and numbers come at 8:30, and things can change. That reversal has taken the $8 short pretty much and thrown it out the window.
Okay. I haven't really looked at SoFi too much in the last little while. It's more like we were looking at Upstart. We talked about that yesterday. UPST, they had that nice little dump down, dump down, then that move up into earnings and trying to bounce right now off this 27 area. So I feel like it's had a nice move back in right here. There still is a decent short float on Upstart. So this little level right there, $23, maybe if we can get down into there for Upstart, could be a decent little buy. You see that you have some support at 22.50 and change. So, boom goes the dynamite back up. We saw a lot of these names start to go. We've lost money on PayPal trading that yesterday, I think it was. So we'll wait to see here if not that Upstart, PayPal, Square. It's just fintechy. They're not all the same. You can look at Affirm and things like that. But right here, I just like this 23 area. So I could see this pulling back, right? The market's definitely not healthy here right now temporarily for some of these names that have been high flyers, but that doesn't mean the market can't just turn around immediately. So let's wait to see if we get a dip down to $23 for UPST. That's something that's on my mind. Are the semis gone too far? Let's go discuss that.
All right, we'll wrap things up with some semiconductor talk. Here's NVIDIA, as Sean was mentioning earlier, trying to make it 11 days in a row. This daily chart is unreal at this point. If you missed it or were not with us early on, we were talking about this Michael Burry angle as well. I mean, he thinks it's time to get a bit of a pullback, putting on a short via that SOXX ETF.
We'll see how that call does. Time will tell. But guys, October 31st, Halloween, we were at $392. Now we're knocking on the door of $500. This thing is an absolute rocket. I wouldn't stand in front of it. Let's see how we do.
There's no question about it. Like, the stock has been pulling back into that 400 area, and then it gets there, and then it just goes back to the top. So it's been a great consolidation for this. The high is like 502, 66. So you get to that number, and I think that would be an area where I think a lot of people would look for a bit of a fade. It's not there yet, so you got some room on a 500 break. I would more be looking at 500 as like a fail break opportunity on NVIDIA. Whoops, that's my Intel chart. I want to get there in a quick second. But like with 502.66 being that high, there's your 500 level. If it breaks this and can't make an all-time that all-time high at 66, I'd almost look for the fade there on NVIDIA through that 502.66. Now Intel, maybe we see $40, maybe we don't. This is the $40 level. You can see the channel up there. I'd look for resistance up at that top, but we're dip buying At least first, that's the first look. $39 was a pretty decent base of operations yesterday. Break over under a couple times before firmly holding it. So if we make another leg to the downside, I'm looking at that 39 level for a dip buy on Intel. And as Sean mentioned, like that AMD not getting through 122 and being the stock that pulled back and was nowhere near its highs. They do look like these. They look like they're right at some highs that are shortable. Whether it's Intel, whether it's AMD, whether it's Nvidia, like they all look like they're at some big resistance levels.
All right, we only have 20 seconds now. Wow. Okay. Here we go. So let's get ready to rock and roll early here off the jump. So, all right, here we go. 10 seconds left. I'm looking at AMD shorting, like Neil said there, through that 122. Let's see what happens. And here we go right now with only 5 seconds to go.
In 3, 2, and 1, ringing to Derek. It is hump day already. Remember that Disney with that activist news is already, it's already off to the races. Chilling at 93. I do want to look for a dip buy opportunity here on Disney to be able to join that trend into the downside. But you are immediately getting some wild action at the open. Intel, which I was looking dip buy. Yeah, that's already going into the upside there. I do not want to chase. I want to try to remain patient, remain vigilant, all that vigilant, all that good stuff. Rivian, I wanted to pop and fade. It's starting to get to the upside, but not really challenging that $17 level. So it looks like we got to be patient here off of this open.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching once again. As hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let's get going on this. So there's AMD, a drop into 120. You could go long if you want at this level, not me. It is making that move back in. Tesla did also make a move back down as well, so we can look out for some Tesla moves. But now Tesla's at 238. We talked about where we were bidding right there, 236.50. So let's have a quick look at where Tesla is right now. 237. Ooh, I'm bidding 236.50, sorry. Here it comes right back into the downside right now. Goes Tesla. So watch out. We could get that bid at some point here at 236.50. That, I don't know. We're willing to watch out for that. We're going to get out if it breaks 235, as we said. So here comes Tesla screaming back into the downside right now.
Yeah, that is, oh my goodness, it is absolutely flying down. As I'm watching, Intel's flying to the upside, which is crazy. And Disney's already at 93.5. Joining that one's going to be a bit wild. I'm looking for an entry if Tesla's falling to the downside to try and get this short here. But Disney's going to be impossible to chase. Complete insanity to the upside here.
Oh man, well, how far is it going?
Yeah, it just broke 93. It got to 93.44. So I was dip buying 92s. I got to look a little bit higher here, somewhere in the 92.5 to 93 range. I want that first available sell from the open and then a consolidation to join this one. Sometimes this happens to you, man. It just breaks out, and you don't want to chase those highs. You got to be patient with it. You mentioned PayPal. PayPal is actually looking pretty decently strong today, up that 1%. This is what I like about it. The 50 periods at 57. If it holds 57 off the opening range, I like PayPal to the long side.
All right, here we go, guys. Yeah, we just got out of some Palantir there. That was a downside move, but here we go. It's 60 cents now, 80 cents. It's $1 now in the money on Tesla, so we're going to start that one going out right now. There's the call. We gave you 236.50, and there it is. It's your first Dollar Club member of the day, and it's a nice one. It's Tesla. I mean, just rewind, and see what we talked about when Tesla was here at that level. And earlier, we waited for a dip buy opportunity. We got it. Whether or not this continues to go up, we'll wait to see as the market's trying to hold this bid right now as well. So there it is right here, Tesla. I'm looking, honestly, back up here to 240. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So that's what we're looking for right there. Let's go back over. The one name that we didn't discuss, that is the #1 name on my sticky note, is Siri. So I do have a bid down here at 520. Maybe it's time to get some now on SIRI. Wow, $1.50 right now in the money on Tesla, and still going to the upside on that one. Siri, yeah, I like it. Warren Buffett came through, new position for him. Let's see if Siri can hold. I'll wait for that 520. That's where I'm bidding right now. But there it is right now. It's Sticky Note Nation, and it is $1.70 now in the money. Almost $2, well, $2 if you want it, right here for Tesla. Good dip buy opportunity. We're on that one.
You know, Disney's completely insane. I got the dip buy in that SoFi trade. It looks like it wants to test those bottoms. Be patient for it. Morning support on this was right down there at 720. I picked up some at 29. I'm looking to get some 20s as well. Down 3%, so it is relatively weak. Holy crap, Disney 94. So about Disney, yeah, definitely going to be getting that order out. The personal account, it looks like it wants to get up there. One name that we did not really get into, you already mentioned Siri there, was Fisker. This was the stock that was crushed yesterday. It's squeezing to the upside. Well, it's not squeezing. It's bouncing to the upside is the best way to put it. So Fisker was down 20-something%, I think, at its max. This level here, 360 to 365. If it makes a turn there, I think that's the one spot I would look to jump in front of that short. Fisker, I want to say it's still a 42% short float. That's what it was last I checked, and I'm sure some is covered, but it's a gigantic one, so I want to respect that. But if you get to that 365 and you're starting to curl, that is a good setup off of yesterday's resistance. I do not get a chance to add in SoFi. Maybe I'll have to add in the quarters. But we like this one long off that support level, and Intel, well, okay, like the long, didn't want to buy it until it was dipping at the open. It's already at $40. That's how life comes at you. So Intel already at the 40, still going to look for a pullback. The thing about joining a trend is there's multiple opportunities if something is going to trend all day long, and not necessarily buying the highs is the way to go.
All right, guys. I don't know, 350 we just took on Tesla right there. 22, 36.50, out 240. What's up, Patrick? How you doing? What's up? I know, chilling out, my guy. Right there. So there it is right there. 350, 240, boom, coming through. So we are very, very happy with that one. I hope you guys are following some of those trades, because there it is right there on Tesla. And if you're a Tesla trader, man, hopefully you and I will be friends for quite a while. We definitely nailed that one. It's right here. Oh, I mean, I just put out as it was written, right? I mean, this is some of the things here that we're talking about. There's Tesla 236 long. We talked about that, and there it is right now, 350 in the money on that one. Nothing else on this sticky note has really been hitting. The other nothing's been coming in. The only other name that we should have had, we were just talked about this 10 seconds ago, Siri. I said I was waiting for 520. I almost bought it right there at 530. Probably should have done that. Missed opportunity on Siri. But hey, when you've got this name, you don't need too much else right now. We are now out of 75% of this trade. So it's fine. It's working. It's in the pocket right now. I love it. It's Tesla. There it goes to the upside. Let's check out on AMD. What exactly is happening on that one? So we wanted, I got it. I did want a short there in AMD. I got that, Fabian. But we should have shorted 120. We were waiting for up here. Obviously, the market had different ideas. Down goes AMD right now. So congratulations to anybody following Mr. Burry on that one. But there it is, a nice move to the downside for AMD, and we did miss that one. But I'm just in chill mode right now, so it's too bad we screwed up that Palantir, but you know, we're back into the Greensville here, so all is well, as Google trying to bounce as well off 134.
Google, nice one. I mean, Google's nice. I just can't take my eyes off Disney and Intel. I'm getting an offer VWAP here. VWAP, it's too early for VWAP, but 740 is resistance, it looks like, on SoFi. So I'm going to get an offer out in front of that. It closed at 748, so I want to respect it. Intel, look at the break. It broke 40 Tesla, and got to 40.15 there. So that was a huge reversal. If it holds on to 40, fair enough, but you're at that resistance point on the daily that we were just talking about, where you have an obvious area of a high at that 40.50, and Disney's now at $94. There has not even been a pullback in Disney to be had. Brendo, what's up, bud?
Just watching Target here, guys. Pretty impressive. 16% now. Just took out session highs there for TGT. This one as well. Earnings yesterday were terrible for C Limited, software name. Back to the upside, though. A lot of bounces popping up today. Here's C Limited up 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was another big one that showed up on that list. I still want to fade plug. That's definitely going to be one in there. But if Intel doesn't hold 40, you might look for that pullback back through that $40 even area. Apple just took out its high. And in comes Fisker.
$5 in the money.
Here comes Fisker.
That's it, buddy. Here comes Fisker. Okay, Sharif, just telling Sharif here, $5 in the money on Tesla right now. So that's it, man. Like now it keeps going higher. Let's see where we go now on this name as it's working. It's Tesla, it's working, and it's long right now. So let's just see if it can keep going, right? I mean, this is the thing. You're always battling with these demons here on where to get out, where not to get out. We told you we're still holding 25%. So there it goes. It's a monster move. It's Tesla. I feel like this is the one for me. You're not seeing me in anything else right now. No need. We'll just sit in this, wait to see what does happen. Check back on Palantir, of course, right back to 20. We talked about getting out of that one. That's going to suck because, yeah, we should have probably, done a little bit better as per usual on that name there, Palantir. Should have held it. But again, we did focus on this other trade. All right, so Rivian down to 1650, not bad. Siri missed opportunity. Oh, it was Alibaba we wanted to play the pullback down in, right? So let's just check out what's happening here with Alibaba, $87. All right, so pullback into 86.50 could be a trade here for Alibaba. We had that gap and go kind of strategy there with the VWAP. So, but it looks like, oh man, we even talked about the 200 period, missed opportunity there. But all right, so now let's just wait. Let's wait for 86.50 maybe to have a little bit of a starter position on Alibaba, and then we'll watch to see averaging in back in here at 86. It's Alibaba so far. Nice day as we talked about some of those Chinese ADRs.
Yeah, I had to pay for Fisker shorts and Xpeng there, so I just got those locates. They were relatively cheap, but there goes Xpeng. I got into Fisker off that 360 area, 65 was that resistance yesterday's trade. Xpeng $17 right now. So if it breaks out 17, remember, this stock, it was bad earnings, but when it goes, it can absolutely fly. When I look for a failed breakout, I want it taking out yesterday's high and rejecting it. That was 17.10. If it rejects 17.10, I want the short back at 17 even. SoFi just does not want to fill. Where's my order here? SoFi doesn't seem to want to fill that 740 just yet, so we'll take it where it happens to go in the high 730s. Going to have to respect it, but the market now starting to pull back in here, so didn't want to chase anything on Disney. Now you're getting a bit of a pullback here in Disney. This is why you got to be patient. Wasn't looking to chase any of these moves, looking for the first sign of support and what looks like a stair step to the upside on Disney. So new position is Fisker, giving it to that 365 previous high from yesterday's trade.
All right. 240. I'm thinking about 240.40 as a spot here to get out of Tesla. Forget it. Who cares? All right. So we're just gonna hold this one. I was gonna think about being responsible here and getting some out if it drops back in. So yeah, we're gonna look at that. Maybe it's VWAP down there at 240. All right. This is what you guys are here for, right? Trying to catch some of these winners, trying to see if we can just talk about why we're in these trades, right? Because it's not that important that we have. I mean, it's important that we have the trades, but that's for like our own accounts. What's important is that that we teach and we think about why we're going long, what we're looking at, so that we can instantly repeat these day after day, right? And I think that's what's something that we've definitely been doing here. All right, so let's go through. If this breaks, here, I'll just do this for you guys live. If this breaks 240, let's get out. 239, oops. See, sometimes I do that. 230, I just put $2,000. 239.97. Out. So there it is. That's a stop there for Tesla. So far, so good on that one. If it does come down and break 240, we'll take the 350 and get out of there. The best it was in the money was 450 or so. $5 actually. It's 450 now. So we got up there to wow. We got to 242. So scratch that. It was much bigger than that. But you got to take a little bit of risk here. So we're doing that right now as we speak. So we'll hold it. We'll see where it goes. It's Tesla. It's bumping, but we are going to get out at 240 if it does break lower. So that's the play right now. What's up, B?
Go EV keeps popping up here in front of me. This was an earnings name as well, a little penny stock, but Canoo in the EV space as well, reporting a smaller than expected loss, guys, for their quarter.
Go EV, it's your birthday. You know how the rest of that goes. But Fisker just pulled back into 350. It just bounced off 351. So when I see this, I want to take some profit. So we shorted off that peak here. Come to the chart for a quick second. There we go. We short off that little fail of the high. It bounces off 350, gets some out 52s. Look to see if we rinse and repeat off of yesterday's tops on Fisker. That's this level right in here. So, that's the area I waited for. It got in there, looking like it's pretty decent. My goodness, this Disney. Oh, wow. That's all I got to say. It looked like it was about to pull right back in here. Like 93.5 would have been obvious. It's holding 94s at this point. Still not that enthused about trading it. Xpeng, no failure at 17.10, so I don't think that short's going to be there. But if you're looking at the chip names, Intel at that 40 level, but NVIDIA is red and down 0.5%. I was just showing you only Intel because that's what I was looking at. NVIDIA breaking to the downside off that 500 level. This is making me want to fade this Intel if it doesn't hold this breakout. Because it got to 40.20 here, super strong name, but this is at the top of the channel. And I was thinking 40.50, like somewhere up here, short the top of that channel. It might be closer to the 40 level the way I'm seeing the other chips go.
All right, Intel. Yeah, you're just talking about that. Okay. Intel at 40. Yeah, 40.20. Yeah, not bad. The thing is like, what will this market do is really the question. So we're gonna wait for that one. I'll check out some SoFi. I'm still waiting on that Tesla, man. I mean, it is dancing around here as you could see it. So we don't need to be too crazy with our positions, but we do need to be careful with them here as we are getting ready to look at some SoFi and a possible move back to the upside here in the market. So let's wait to see SoFi. Neil actually brought this to our attention, I think, when you were talking.
It was on the watch list.
Yeah, but that 8, what was it, 8 or 7? Anyway, SoFi does make a move down. Sorry, you can't see it because I was looking at Tesla. Down 2 and a bit percentage points here for SoFi, looking to take that $7 mark. So yeah, a little bit of a warning shot there for SoFi into today. So let's wait to see. Nice little pullback in 7.27. I think it's probably worth a shot down there at $7 on SoFi. So we'll see if that does come through here. But I like that call, $7 long here on SoFi. I'm just a little distracted because I'm still watching out for this play here. I was debating moving it up a little bit to maybe 240.50 on here for Tesla, but still okay. Regardless, I mean, if we put it at 240.50, we probably would have got, not probably, we would have got stopped out the last couple times. So we'll stay with what we're doing now. Continue to watch this name here. It's Tesla. It looks like it's having a little bit of a problem on the high side right now. So we'll have to watch out for that. NVIDIA, did you look at that yet?
Yeah, it was at the lows right now. It was trying to bounce off some of the lows. I just got the new position in Xpeng. It broke that high from yesterday. So sorry about these dark pool wicks, but like at 8 o'clock, you get these overnight dark pool dumps that'll screw up your charts, but these aren't real. They didn't happen. So 17.10, there's your break. There's your top at the quarters. On the way back through the previous high, short to this level. Probably want bids out because last I checked, bids are a good way to take profits on shorts.
Bids, yeah.
It's, you know, I mean, you talk about the basics sometimes.
Definitely buys, definitely.
It's one of those things, like you get into a short position, you have to buy to get out of it.
Yes.
I'm being tongue-in-cheek there, obviously, that's true. So I have a bid down here underneath 1690. I just see in the chat there, Ving saying, what's wrong, what's going on in Netflix? You know what, whatever. I don't like that one. It's not very exciting. We need a better up arrow key. Let's go to Brendan.
Just looking at end phase as well as double checking on Netflix there. I don't see much in the way of a news story for Netflix, but this one as well. 5% for end phase back to the upside today. New microinverter launch for them. Clean energy name, obviously.
All right, we just went long a decent amount of shares down here on Google. Again, playing the move back in on that name. So let's wait to see. It just came into some support levels. We're going to play this off of 133.70, a breakthrough 133.70, and we're gone. So that's about right now 12 cents worth of risk. We just took a sum out on that upside. So let's see if it does continue to work here. It's Google. And by the way, that's the end of Tesla. So unfortunately, there it is. Good trade. We'll go like this because that is what happened to it. And there it is, Tesla. Good little move back up to the upside. We definitely took advantage of it. So couldn't be happier with that one, to be honest with you. So we'll wait to see where it goes. The other one, of course, new position is Google. And you guys have seen the way I've been trading lately. It doesn't take a lot of trades to make your day. So right now we're just going to be trading so far Palantir, L on Palantir, where is Palantir now? 92. I should have just been more patient with it. We weren't. Big win on Tesla, obviously, and looking to do the same damn thing right now, guys, on Google. There goes Google. Hey, another 22-cent winner for you. So there it is, man. We're going to go 2 for 2 in the open market, 0 for 1 in the pre, and learn our damn lessons from that. There goes Google again. Spin the money. Now it's 30 cents in the money on that play. So, hey, man, we're still here. We're still feeling it. It's a nice positive day. Let's see what happens to go. It's only 9:48.
It's only, yeah, we're still
really
well
early.
within the opening range here, so you want to set yourself up nicely. And keep in mind what's going on. I'm going to go to the Qs here. I did take some profit on Xpeng, but you are holding a channel on that little bit of a dip that we had, not a little bit of a dip, but the dip and rejection that we had on that 830 PPI number. It's threatened to break the bottom without following through. So I like some short setups in here, but if you got a long that you like, I'm only in SoFi off that quarters. If you like a long, I think this is your chance to be able to grab it. Where's my VWAP bid? Gimme. Cancel, repost at 78. I was bidding 75 there, but still holding on to that Xpeng. Fisker still looking like it's going to hold in the pocket. I want to get out here at the bottom, in front of the bottom, zoom back out. There you go. We closed at 334. There's your consolidation in the 30s. If it gets down there, that's where I want to be able to get out. SoFi, the one long, starting to ring the register. Don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth because was able to get that second bounce off the quarters, but it's rejecting every 10 cents or so. So it makes a bottom, it goes 10 cents to the upside and then turned around. Want to make sure we're taking profit on the way back to that upside. Plug power, okay, Tobes. You can put plug once, and we'll notice it. Plug and $5. That's the. I'm looking for plug at about $5 for a rollover trade. 10% to the upside, but let's remember what happened to this thing a couple days ago. 10% is nothing in the grand scheme of this gap. It got cut in half in essentially one day. So I can easily see it getting to $5 without any trouble. That's where I want to trade that one.
All right, nice look there on plug. Thanks for putting that in the chat there. We'll look to see if that does get down to $5. SoFi, good trade there. And then we are out of half already. Let's get out of one more piece right here. We're out of half of Google already. It's a 31-cent winner. Nice move back up to the upside, obviously, as it goes. Target right now just taking names and just absolutely ripping. So there goes Target up to 130. I wrote down there on the sticky note that we were going to look for to fade 130, but it's a nice move. And if it does slow down, then maybe we will. But Target right now just kicking butt back up there to the upside. So again, a big congratulations to anybody that has that one. If you have Target plus Google plus Tesla, you all good today, baby. As there goes Tesla as well. There goes Google again as well. So that's now 40 cents in the money. So targeting Google, hopefully you guys have been on those plays. Let's see where they go now. Will this market go back up to the upside is what we're really waiting for. I mean, we've got this long on Google and the market's not moving. If anything, it's going the other way. So let's wait to see here what does happen with Google. We're still obviously excited about it. But I don't know. This market's turning lower. I feel like the short is just in the semis and we should probably have been looking there a little bit more conservatively than we were. So, so far so good, but let's wait to see what does happen here with a move on AMD to the downside. You were short it yesterday all day. So we were a day early on the short, was fine, but again, not being able to hold. That's the problem. We saw the 122, 120 area. It's actually on the sticky note from yesterday to short AMD at that level. So even before Michael Burry, I didn't know about that. Just thought it was overextended. Plus NVIDIA, 10 straight, 11 straight days to the upside. At some point, there's going to be profit taking, whether or not it's
looks like right now.
Yeah, whether or not it's sustainable, I don't know. But it is a nice move up there for the semis today.
Yeah. Oh, that was the turn on plug. I might have just. I think I missed it. I mean, forget. I waited for I wanted $5 on plug, but yeah, I guess it doesn't have that much juice in it to get to $5. There's your dip. Intel just gave up the 40 level. I know it's a strong name there, but you know, breaking down underneath that 40, I'm going to look for the 40 short here. Everything else in the space is Micron's weak, NVIDIA's weak, AMD is weak. The NASDAQ just broke that shelf to the downside. I'm trying to wet the beak in the mid 39s here. It's one of those where you might need to give it to the top. So chasing it too far down is going to obviously suck. Only got that one profit take on SoFi. Looks like we should have had more, but NVIDIA is falling like an absolute rock. The other name, if I look short on chip names, the one that I usually also like is ARM. I think it's a bit overvalued, but this isn't really doing much or giving you good volume. If it was at 56, I think you short 56 at will, and it's dancing in the middle. 52.5 previous resistance into support would be I guess, where you'd buy that stock. But yeah, the shorts are definitely working out here, which does mean SoFi is going to come under pressure for me.
Yeah, they're.
SoFi, I got one out in SoFi, and it's right back at that bottom. If we take out this low, I'm just getting out. The market's going the other way here.
Yeah, yuck. I was thinking the same thing, man, because Disney, or not Disney, sorry, what am I talking about? Disney. Google. Disney. Google's not falling. So that was something that I wanted to look at here again, coming back in. So again, a name that's not really making that move to the downside here is Google. So I just covered some, and it's looking like a bit of a mistake here to cover. So we just covered some at 06 there, looking like a mistake. Nice move back up, still 40 cents in the money. And it just goes to show you, we talk about it all the time. Play the strong names. If you're playing the strong names in the market, you can't exactly do this. And here's for my friends right now. Let's spend a little bit of money right now. There it is right now as we go a little crazy here in this market. Look, despite the market being down 0.3%, you can still find these winners. It was a $4 winner on Tesla. It was up to $6. We got a little greedy. We took it out on VWAP, and there it goes. It's a nice move for Tesla as it comes back inside. Google's a good trade. The semiconductors are falling down. It's NVIDIA time, but it's not till November 21st with earnings. Let's go over to the desk with Brendan.
Luminar, guys, back to the upside this morning. Laser LAZR 9.5% on a new contract announcement here for them this morning. So good look for Luminar. Again, they do LiDAR technology and radar.
Hanging out? Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah.
Just some friends visiting the floor.
ICE is in the building.
Yes. But a couple of things here. The market just broke into this downside. I'm taking it and running over here on Fisker. So there's Fisker, there's your high, there's your support. Get in off 60, get out off 40, rinse and repeat. The stock may be going to the gates of hell, but at least for today, I'm willing to play inside of this range because I think it's a bit of a squeeze situation there on Fisker. 40-something% short flow. I should double check it at some point, but I don't know if it's made a big change.
No, it was. Yeah, that is right.
Which is nuts. They got to cover. Like they got to cover at some point. So I always want to take the profit on that short, thinking it's going to squeeze any moment. So Intel did bounce back in here to the mid 39.95 range here. I want to be able to give this at least until 41.10, and even if I lose there, look for the short off the high of the day. If we are truly going downside, then I want to keep the bigger picture in mind. Yes, I love Intel long off this channel, but it's at the top of the channel now. It's getting into these highs where I want to look for that short. Xpeng's falling like an absolute rock. SoFi is holding on at least a little bit. I want to get to Rivian if I can as well. So Rivian, there was no pop and fade. I can cancel that order. Suddenly, it just looks like shorts over VWAP on Rivian if we're going to be trend down. So I would have liked it off the 17 level. We're not going to get that. Got to look for the short over VWAP into the previous high, and that's the only way we're going to be able to trade that one. But it's been a pretty good morning. It just looks as if that long trade, at least for now, the NASDAQ wants the other way. For now, still a bit early.
Yeah, I missed stupid. Well, okay, just came back in. I was going to say missed opportunity there, and I just didn't see it till late. So we're in it now, and it doesn't mean it's going to be good. But it's Microsoft, so we just do have a bid now at 370. We're going to try. We're not going to try. We are going to give this down to 369.50. So here we go. It's Microsoft. We did just see Google get back into the 20s there, so I feel like that's going to be an area to get something out on. But here we go. It's Microsoft. We have business inventories coming up right now at 10 o'clock. Business inventories month over month coming out very, very soon. We're long at 370.10. Let's put an offer at 30, get something out. Put an offer at 50, get something out there if we can, because our risk is 60 cents in this name, right? So if we could scalp a little bit out here before the number, I think that's probably close to something prudent to do. So we'll wait for that one right now on Microsoft. Coming back in a little bit here for sure. So we'll wait to see what's going on with that one. Tesla's still at that area that we got out on. Microsoft, Google, okay. We already know where we're getting out on that one. There it is. There's another moneymaker for you right there. We're going to go three for four. There it is, another one. Yes, sir. There's another 50 cents for you on Microsoft. So, yeah, man, all is well. Good day to trade again here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the same kind of day. I couldn't tell you what it felt like yesterday, but obviously it was going pretty much to the upside all day long. So you want to respect it. One stock that looks like it's going to buck the trend, at least for now, there's a dip in Disney. It's underneath 94. It just made a bounce shy of VWAP, or sorry, in front of VWAP there, well in front of VWAP, but it's early. I want to take this opportunity to try and get this like 93.80 area for the first long of the day for me. Maybe you could have had this right away at 9:30. You know, obviously I would have missed it, but that is what it is. I want to also get some out of SoFi in this next bounce. SoFi is holding on to 7.25. I mean, that's pretty clean how it's holding on to that, but then lower highs. Like, look at how cleanly it's putting in lower highs into this descending wedge right at the open. So yeah, I'm taking profit out there when I see it on SoFi. Maybe it busts VWAP and now you can run to the upside, but do not go crazy thinking, you know, every long level because it's holding is going to be a gigantic bounce. That's not what this market is telling me. It's telling me lower highs. Make sure you grab your profit. Can reload off this 725 as long as it holds, but it's not going to hold on forever. Thomas Johnson, SoFi is my Mullen. Well, that's extreme. I feel like SoFi and Mullen do not need to ever be in the same sentence. But, you know, what do I know? Those are very different stocks. Like, talk to me, yeah, come on. SoFi is not that bad. Like, Mullen's on its own level.
Oh,
anyways,
wow, yeah.
like Mullen and CEI belongs in the Mullen range. I like SoFi. I would buy that stock at $5, I think. Just saying.
Oh, you would buy it if it was 40% down from here? Yeah, I think that would
well,
be
looking at the daily, the last time I looked at the daily chart, I was like, oh yeah, I would buy that at $5. That's all. That's all I'm getting at. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Intel is pressing above VWAP, but it's still holding on.
Thanks, Rob.
So I've got these 95s in there. I got these 95s. I'm going to give it to 40.10, and that's pretty much it. It's too strong a stock to give it all the way to the high of the day. I think I'd try to make another trade if it got there. It's 10 o'clock. Let's see what's happening now. I guess I said yes too late. Eh?
Hey guys, just getting the September business inventories number coming through here on a month-over-month basis, 0.4% versus the same expected there. That was consensus, 0.2 on the forecast for business inventories September. Again, retail inventories excluding autos, 0.4%, same story. If you missed it in the pre-market this morning, more inflation data pointing in the right direction. PPI month-over-month for October. Downside, negative 0.5 coming through as it was expected to be positive 0.1 on that number. Core PPI month over month, dead flat, no change, similar to yesterday's CPI reading that kicked off this market rally. So overall, we had an initial move that was higher, but got faded out a little bit off of that number. Yeah, there's Target, better part of 18% now, right at day highs, coming off better than expected report. We're getting into these levels, though. If you go back on the daily chart through to the summer, a bit of a sticking point, possibly a ton of positive catalysts surrounding all things China related, including Xi and Biden going to meet out in San Francisco at some point today. So keep those in mind. Still positive for most of these. I want to mention this real quick as well. This is Berkshire. Not much happening, but Warren was in there doing some selling over the past couple of weeks and months, trimming down some positions, raising cash as we saw in their latest report. 13F and 13Gs coming through from Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway as well. Brought to you by Search Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million. Keep 90% of the profits. The program has simple rules, no time limits. surgetrader.com/TTV for 10% off.
Never watched it.
We're talking about Jersey Shore, or Jersey Shore. Shoresy, if anybody's watched that there.
If you're Canadian, you know what's up.
Yeah, that's a great little show there. The Sudbury Blueberries.
I keep holding my coffee.
And I don't know what is up with the overwhelming amount of hot chicks in Sudbury, by the way, Rob. Right there. So as we go, if you guys have watched Shoresy, you guys.
I clearly need to watch this show because I'm not getting.
For sure.
It's all going over my head.
But if you guys are watching any show, hopefully it's ours right now because there's another reload on Microsoft, and there it is again, man. Google check, Microsoft check, Palantir. Where's my fail? Palantir fail. Tesla.
Awesome.
So far, so good here today as we continue to rock, man. Tesla still above 240. There goes Softy. Can it get into the dollar club again here? Oh, we'll wait. We just reloaded it. It needs to get going, man. I mean, if this 371 would be fantastic. So we'll wait for some 371 love and see if we can catch that back in on there. So we'll wait for it. 370, 371 coming through there on Microsoft. And if not, guys, we're dumping it right here. 369.50. It is what it is. That's what we're going to do. We've talked about this, really reading the board good, being able to trade the right names at the right levels. And, you know, trading is all about probabilities. So right there, we're just talking about, you know, that's a good level. It's a good level of support. We've already made it down there. So if we could take, you know, 50 cents worth of risk to try to make 50 cents, I think that that's going to be worth it. And if you have to scalp out as you go so that you can get some reloads and things like that, that's exactly what we all should be doing. So good move down. I do want to get short, man. I mean, I don't love the long right here. It's 10 o'clock. We could turn around at any point here and get back up to we're still green on the day, but you know, we could get going even more than this. So there's AMD, wick bottoms down there at 117. Is that the bottom? I'm not sure, but the odds right here, if you take a long around, I don't like the long, but this right now, if you're doing the work and you like it, you get it with about 20 to 30 cents worth of risk back into that bottom. So I'm looking for a fade. Like, I would love this name to get back up to this 118.50, and then we can short it. But until then, we'll just keep on ringing the register long here because there's Softy again. So, hey, 50 cents worth of risk. If we could take 50 cents worth of profit, let's do it. I know we're spinning this a lot today, but it's because that's what's happening on some of these trades. So, again, I hope you enjoyed the show. It's been a fun one. We're still going, man. And on the midday, we will get a return of lunch money next week, but we do have our brand new stream in the middle of the day, and it's all about education. Join the professor and Adara as they'll go through different strategies and talk more about the basics of trading as Adara learns and then gets back into, or gets going, hopefully soon enough, into live mode, and you can see her journey into that. So it should be an exciting show again here today for that live show.
Yeah, and you know what? Not just the basics, because you know when I listen, you get a little bit of everything in terms of dropping knowledge there. So I want to respect to that new profit. Thank you very much, Rob. I want to respect to that new format because I think it's fantastic. Learning at all levels. I just want to stress that this NASDAQ is bouncing oddly enough off 15.9. So you wick 16,000 on the NQ, and now you bounce off 15.9. Oh, if it only were that easy, you just could trade the futures that way all the time. That'd be great, but that's what's happening. I think we got pretty fortunate that SoFi is holding this bottom. Let's be real about it. But it is holding the bottom. It just broke VWAP. I want to make sure we're taking some profit here. I almost hit that. Oh, whatever. That's all. Hit this key. Whatever. So yes, great spike it. I hate football. But we just got above VWAP for the first time, but it's still trending down. So you want to take that profit where you can. Intel is still looking pretty strong up here. So I'm still short. Want to give it to 40.10. If it breaks that out, I look for something else off that high. If it joins the party, I'm going to get on the bid underneath this breakdown. I don't know if you get all the way down to 39.40, but that makes some sense to me. I thought we'd be trading some Chinese ADRs this morning. Well, I'm trading Xpeng, but I thought I'd be trading Pinduoduo. JD.com is now pulling back in there, but PDD is nowhere near what I thought would be the dip, like 112 right at the open. That's what I was looking for. Maybe it gets there in a little bit, but I'm kind of thinking that's pretty much done. As far as Fisker goes, it's still trending down into this bottom, but I'm anticipating some strength comes into it, and if I short it, I would short on a pop back into this potential lower high on FSR. We're going to hold on to Xpeng for dear life and just see how far it wants to lead us. It gave us that entry off of yesterday's tops or yesterday's close, fail break. Now can it break down all the way into the low of the day? Fisker did, but Xpeng has not. Simplicity says Palantir's over 20 again.
Yeah, it is. I
like reclaims of levels. Let's see what happened here. Oh, this is still in yesterday's range. Well, that's a bit weird. Okay, I thought for a second that this was kind of challenging a breakout of yesterday's high, but it's just at that 20 level. If it were to make that dip and then retake this double top, that looks like a really good breakout. But let's wait for that to happen. It's not really there yet.
Yeah, we're still, I mean, we're still looking. First of all, we're getting close to getting some more out on Microsoft. Microsoft's been a huge reload a couple times down there. So we're going to wait. We're just waiting for a 70 fill. Hopefully that will come through at some point, and then we'll be able to take that out. But again, this is my bad. Like, I am literally once again a victim of my own pre-market trading, because like if I'm not in like look what I wrote down for Palantir as a bottom here. Do you guys? I mean, and it's so sad, because if we just look back and say like, why do we bother to do this work here, right? So here's Palantir. What did we write down right here? 1975 long. Okay, let's go back over here and find out what the bottom is for Palantir. Oh, 1972. I mean, it's so stupid that we got involved early, then we were like, oh my God, it's tank. It wasn't doing anything. We should have held that trade and then had this all the way back up. But because, we got some out on the upside. We got some out at 20.05 and stuff like that. So that's fine. But again, to write down the levels and nail it dead on and be our only red stock, kind of sucks. But that's what happens, and you gotta trade the good with the bad, right? Sometimes, you don't respect your own research and stuff, and that's really silly. At least we did it for this one. Now, we didn't hold it, but I'm fine with that because it did dip down, and we could have reloaded it at, again, another level that we mentioned on here, 238. But we had the 236.50. This is probably going to go down here for me as a trade of the day. We nailed it. Was a good one. I mean, this Microsoft, because of the reloads, has been pretty good as well, but I really like that Tesla trade. Palantir, we'll wait to see if it does come back in, and I know you guys want to talk Palantir as you always do, so we can wait for that one. Microsoft, the other one was Meta that dipped down that we should have bought, but this is still kind of on the bottoms here, so not kind of, it is. It's right at 330, so this name continues to show weakness as well. That's Meta. So Meta and some of the chip names are the weak ones right now. We just need to wait for something to happen so that we can somehow get short at better levels. It's just, I don't want to short immediately. That's why, unfortunately, we had to sort of go long here with Softy, although right now Microsoft's kind of failing right here. So we'll put an offer at 38 and see if we can get that. I do want to go short. So to sit there in these two longs, little dangerous, that's for sure. We are going to average into Google. Google's come all the way back. We only have 25% of Google. There it is. We'll take some more money, and all we're doing is cash cowing this up right now for Microsoft. So we'll take another out there at 38 and then see where it goes. So thanks, Hog, and everything there. Yeah, we did call
this up.
Yeah, cash cowing it up.
Or cash carrying it up.
Yeah, I don't want to cash carrying it up, though. But thanks, Neil Kashkari. Yeah,
he spells his name the wrong way.
Yeah, he definitely does. But there it is. Thank you exactly there. Thank you so much, Bruce and everybody. See, this is why I do the show, honestly. I don't have the trade on AMD, right? But we went over there, and we called that bottom. I just didn't put it on. So thank you so much right there to everybody in the chat there. Thank you to Bruce for talking about that. Thank you to Hog and everybody out there as well. Look, we're still going to be here every single day and trying to put on these calls for you. So right now we're going to go Google 1 for 1, Microsoft 2 for 2, Tesla a big 3 for 3, and Palantir on the last fail. Go 3 for 4 today with a missed opportunity here in AMD. Call it 4 for 5 if you want, but I don't have the trade on.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to be able to put the trades on that you see in front of you, and you'll never, ever catch every single move that you like. You will never, ever get, okay, fine. Sometimes you'll get the absolute bottom, the absolute top, but it's just about getting the winning trade. Don't worry about getting the top wick or the bottom wick, but you don't want to miss a big opportunity. That's my segue to Coinbase 100. Because whether or not this gets to $100 and is a short at $100 that actually works, doesn't matter. It's just the last time it got there was a huge missed opportunity, and it's breaking out today. So I think 100 is another level I want to play. So if we get to 100, I'm going to look for the short at that level. It's just that simple. That's how I roll. If you're going to see me in ARGO, deal closing today or tomorrow. $30 cash. If it moves more than a cent or two, then it's going to really suck. But I'm not expecting it to. So you'll see me in that position, maybe in and out more or less all day long. What was the other name I wanted to get to? Was Coinbase, and oh yes, Fisker, my friend. All right, so there wasn't a bounce off of the support level. You can't always. Like, I thought there'd be support at the previous close based on what happened in the pre-market, and then you closed right in there. I thought you'd bounce in here, you retake the short. Oftentimes, when you're taking it against the grain, I I always have a specific target when I'm taking a squeeze stock short. I'm always thinking, okay, here to here. That's exactly what happened, but it tends to be wrong. It's wrong in this particular case. It's just a matter of where I can get back into it. So if it doesn't bounce off of this level to give me VWAP, I'll have to go back and reassess. I do want to be net short and favoring the short in that trade. Unfortunately, we're not in it. SoFi, I think we can hold on to this one pretty decently. It's holding VWAP now, so I think the next step up would be to get back to 750. It closed at 48. I think that's a reasonable area to get out of that one and reassess. Why Brothers United? Pump AMD, please. You don't pump stocks here. You just look at levels. Look at opportunities, look at trades. We don't pump stock. We're not, I don't know, throw out insert name there if somebody that pumps. As these guys are yelling, pump it in the back, probably to the market off the bottom. But it does look like double top, now lower high. If anything, I look at this 119. It's what, 119 and a quarter, and then you had that resistance, back into last week, and then of course on Monday. If it gets in there and turns around, that looks like a spot to be looking short off the 119, at least off a lower high. So I don't think you see the 122 anytime soon. I'd be looking at that 19 for a false break, because the chart's saying reversal off the double top, and now a bit of a flat bottom break. Support turns into resistance. That's how I would at least be approaching that name. I'm in Intel short, so obviously I think what I think. But yeah, if you're long at the bottom, I would be taking profit into that level. But do you?
All right, so everybody always do you, right? I mean, that's the whole point. All right, so AMD, I'll do the opposite of pumping it. I'm going to try a short here on this, but it's not going to be for a very long time, as we did call that bottom there at 117 for 20 cents worth of risk. Now huge, and here it goes. So it's too bad, because it looks like we will probably wind up taking an L on this, as it just comes back up to VWAP. These were the trades that we were waiting for, was a retracement back a little bit higher. So you know what? I'm going to give this a little bit more room here. There was a big offer that just showed up, or a big bid that just showed up there. I don't know what that's all about, but we're gonna have to give this. Let's give it to 119. We're not layered into this one too hard here or anything like that. We can definitely give this one a little bit more room. I feel like with this move here, this is the daily chart, but with this move up today for AMD, just right now. It's been beat up. I mean, the market's still under VWAP. We still are positive on the day. Here it goes, which is providing me with some sort of resistance to this trade. Obviously, here it comes. So let's try one more time. We didn't actually short that much more. We're short right now at 37. So let's put a short on right now at 78. But this is really going. I mean, what is going on with NVIDIA
I was about to say.
490. So NVIDIA's going the other, not doing anything, as AMD goes back up. So we'll try it. We'll short some more here at 74, and then just give this up to 119. So right now, that's what we're doing. You can see look, our average price is 50. We could take a 50-cent hit. We don't want to, but here it comes up to 119 immediately. What's up, Brandon?
Little one, KNTE up 60% here. Just getting another move through highs. The company has come out and confirmed that they have, in fact, received a go private offer for the rest of the outstanding shares here.
Wow, this AMD is.
Okay, that's worth a look. Roku just getting yelled at. I don't know what's going on. I know what just happened in AMD. It's because I was saying 119 is the level. This is where I usually look for a short when it gets back into support levels, and that's where it is. So, of course, the stock decides to happily oblige in a matter of seconds. But that's a little, considering NVIDIA just rolled over at VWAP, the first thing I usually do is check my old Twitter feed to see if there's anything happening on AMD. Answer no, it's at 119. This is the level. If it gets back underneath 119, I'm jumping short and then giving it to that quarter mark. So that happened really quick. I'm obviously in Intel, so it's more of a scalp trade for me. I do want to get to Roku in a quick second. And you know what? The other thing that's going crazy while this is happening is Affirm. Affirm making power moves to the upside. But there's AMD back underneath the 119 level. Give it to the local high. That is wild. It was $1 when we were answering that question, 25 seconds ago.
Oh man.
Really, it was a couple of minutes ago, but I'm being a little bit dramatic there. It's not the only thing running. So look, maybe there's something happening. I say maybe because ARM's now up 4% and charging toward this big 56 level. The worst thing, see, this is at a big level. I just put on AMD. I'm in Intel. If this makes a run at this 56 top on the daily, do I need to short that as well? Probably not, but This is all coming to a head at the same moment. And what's weird is NVIDIA's kind of rejecting VWAP here to the downside. So I'm thinking curl because those are the levels, but maybe we're seeing something happen here on ARM, which is dragging a few other names to the upside. But ARM, power move, 5%. I really don't know why ARM is up 5%. You guys, if anyone sees anything, I'm just not sure what's going on there. But Affirm, that's what I meant to get to, $27 Affirm. That's 27. Affirm is absolutely on one. That kind of trend short never really got to 15, but it got pretty close. Now it wants to break out to the upside. So if you look at a weekly or just keep it on the really high time frame, it's still technically speaking making higher lows and higher highs. Believe it or not, but 27 break. It has 27.15 to deal with. That's going back into last week. So I would need it to be breaking 27 quarters for it to be a real squeeze on Affirm, but it's getting pretty darn close. That's an impressive day for Affirm.
I feel like we're going to be, it's just so crazy that I'm going to wind up losing on this AMD when we just talked about it long, or that's Google, sorry. This AMD when we just talked about it long at 117, and I was like, it's 10 o'clock, there's a chance this market turns around and blah, 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 and yada, 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 and then all of a sudden we decided to flip it into the short. So mistake there for sure, but again, we're at this level. It's going to be a 40-cent hit, right, if it comes in. We actually just tried to bid some 80s there. We missed it. We're in the low 80s. It just came back in a little bit into that level just to take a little bit of pressure off of this trade because, again, you don't want like one or two of your trades to sort of be like, that's it, that's the Widowmaker. So we'll wait. Hopefully it comes back in. Obviously, we will put okay, good, okay. Just as I say, obviously, there it comes now back in. So, okay, here we go. We're short now at 74. We just took an L. So we have a temporary L on this name. Let's see where it comes. Hopefully it comes back in. Now we're short at 74. So let's go on this move back in here for AMD. If I didn't have so many shares, I probably would be holding this for a move lower now. But we did like this trade. So let's see where it goes. It's AMD. It's making a move back in. There it is. We'll take a 66 fill. Nicely done to the downside right here. We didn't get much love, but Tesla there, Randy, look at that bottom take right there. 236.50 as it's taking out the highs. Unfortunately, we got out at 240, but there it goes right now. All my concern is with AMD as it's starting to pull back a little bit. So let's go over to the desk as I start to get out of a little bit of this, and let's go see what Brendan's up to.
Lots of news actually in the world of bioscience small caps, including SciSpark, SPRC. This one has basically had trial results that showed positive impacts for their treatment for Alzheimer's. Keep an eye on that one. We also have ChemoMab Therapeutics, CMMB. This one has gotten FDA fast track designation for their treatment for a type of liver disease. Last but not least, Solid Biosciences, SLDB. This one also has FDA news. The FDA has cleared the company's treatment for muscular dystrophy. It's a gene therapy type treatment. Keep an eye on all of these names heading into the rest of the day. Guys.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And ARM, the reason ARM made that spike, Soros and Tiger Global with stakes. Okay, but we already know ARM is a darling of institutions and all that stuff, and everyone wants to buy it. Fair enough. I don't think that's big surprising. Took first out in front of VWAP here on AMD. So it does curl off that 119. It was just, maybe it was following ARM to the upside, but it got to previous support and then could not break that level. So short off the 119. 1-to-1 is actually a little bit better underneath that 18.7, and I got 18 quarters in here as well. So if it gets down a buck from here, I'd be pretty happy with that. As AMD, that's a bit of a curl, but it ain't exactly flushing. Relative to that move to the upside was nuts. And ARM's still going, by the way. ARM is actually still at the high of the day off that 56 level. If it breaks 56 and fails that, that's where I'd be looking for the short. And I keep seeing in the chat, Alex is mentioning it here, and AJ, Palantir not. It's almost retaking that top.
That's hilarious.
So that is a rejection of the 20, and then if you break it back out, you probably trap some people shorting this as the market was going down underneath that $20 level, which would scream to me just take the breakout on Palantir if it takes out that high. So I'm ignoring this wick through the high and just looking right at the 2030. as a double top. I love that kind of a reversal trade because you know there's some day traders that are short that underneath that 20 level when it looked like a great short just minutes ago. Brendo.
I was just going through some of these other positions that George Soros revealed in this report, guys, and it's kind of interesting. Apple, he increased. Taiwan Semi, he increased. Novo Nordisk, he increased. The biggest, however, he increased his position in Uber by 16.5%, almost 1 million shares in the quarter.
A milli.
Yeah, we got Uber. We like that one.
I like Uber.
Yeah, we like Uber. We got Uber as well. And by the way, we also got an awesome trade with Microsoft as that's still going upside. We also got Google, which is starting to go upside. We've got everything. And then again, the only stock that will fail on today is Palantir as it takes out the high of the day. And like I said, man, hopefully you guys are on the sticky note where we wrote down 1975. I missed it. That's a shame. And we'll just move off of it. I can't believe my only red stock is one that we nailed and we just were not patient enough with it. So I'm not too happy, but you know, happiness comes and goes because Microsoft is $1. Google is 27 cents. AMD, we almost turned a profit right here despite averaging in all the way up right now to that. So we're really happy with what's been happening here with AMD as it has pulled back in. Like I said, man, with the amount of shares, I had to get these out. Like when we came back into VWAP, it was just one of those things where I would have loved to hold, but just because of what we had, that turns out to be, I'm hoping anyways, a good decision because what else can you do? You know, when you're over leveraged up there on this high side. And now the market is starting to take VWAP. So we do have to watch out for this AMD trade one more time. I was only giving this not too much longer, right? I was only giving this one to 15s. So we're getting ready to be stopped out potentially on that one. But there it is right now. If you're looking for dollar clubs, we're right here for you because there's one on Softy. So Softy right back there to VWAP. Multiple reloads down there. There's the bump up on Softy. So like that trade, do not like my decisions on Palantir, and I'm probably never going to live that one down. But there it is right there, and there's the out. Boom! There's $1.30 right now as we go a little face slappy right there for Microsoft. So this is what I mean. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel bad, and I feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah, it does feel good, but all good rides come to an end at some point, but some of them come at times that you don't like it. I felt like I'm going to get to Rivian in a second. Xpeng was going to be one of those fall right back in like Fisker to the low of the day, but it bounces off VWAP. When we fail that breakout, I don't give it back. Once you bounce VWAP, I'm looking break even or where volume was. It closed at 17. I get out when it breaks at 17. I'm not turning a winning trade into a loser. Even if I felt it had a chance to continue further to the downside, that's not what's happening. You got to respect it to the upside. I'm about to get stopped on Intel. There it goes. I was going to flip to something else, but Intel just got to that 40-10. We took the consolidation short, looking for the breakdown back into previous close. Instead, it ends up taking that 40-10 level. So I was willing to sit in this for the bigger trade to the downside if the market took 15.9, but it doesn't happen. So we're in, we're out, not going to fight that one. AMD still looks okay off of this level, but okay is not great. Like there's great and then there's okay, and this only looks okay. That is a big hammer reversal for it to hold VWAP here. Next step, it probably breaks it out. And speaking of breaking it out, here comes Rivian. I'm going to get Palantir if it breaks that high, but Rivian is now screaming into that previous top. This is 1720. If you look back here, 1735, also a bit of a double top from last week. So if this gets through 1735, I think it can rip some faces off to set upside. Palantir could break. Rivian's on the verge of breaking out here. It means a lot going. Coinbase could get to 100. If we take out 16 again, like the way this market was yesterday, if it holds 15.9 and you're breaking back out 16,000, we're going for a ride. Because that would be nasty. There was a lot of very good-looking shorts this morning, and all the reloads would be in some trouble if they get in and get blown out again. That would get nasty. I'm going to be very patient in terms of where I get some shorts, only off of key levels at this point. But Rivian, Palantir, one of these two should be a breakout.
Yeah, still Rivian, boo. Okay, so we reloaded, and so far so good here on AMD. By the way, there's Google again. Like honestly, some of these charts today, like they could be NFTs. We talk about that. Like there's the dip down, wait for it, buy it. We should have just bought another piece there. Unfortunately, we were stuck on AMD and didn't understand what we were doing. And then there's Microsoft. Look at this, reload, right back up to VWAP again. And what I'm getting at is just like these stocks are making sense and moving the way, in my opinion, right now off this move back down in the way they should. So let's go. There it is right there. Face slap it up as we are now getting back into the pocket here for AMD. Take some more profit. There's the reload, man. Stick with what you're doing, and you should be able to have some success. There's AMD with the downside move. We're bidding some 50s now. What's up, B?
Just quickly here, guys. Here's crude oil down 1.2% on the day. Coming up in a couple of minutes here, there's a chance we actually get 2 weeks worth of inventory data. So anyone looking at energy stocks or anything related to energy stocks, if you remember last week, they delayed releasing the data from last week because of a software update. So there's a chance we get actually 2 weeks worth of data here at 10:30.
Look, we haven't really looked too much at energy. I'm not going to lie to you. You got to stay in the pocket. We knew we'd be looking at those chip names. We knew we'd be looking at some of those EV names as well. I just got in front of VWAP again on AMD. Now I want those 118s. You reject that previous high. I think it looks like it's going to be a good one, but it's not alone. ARM is right at that 56 and just turned it. So it got to 56.03. Anywhere off that high is where I want to be involved here. I just wanted to see the weakness. Again, the news was Soros and Tiger Global with stakes in ARM. That shot it up 4.5%. At the same time, you saw some sympathy plays to the upside and some other chip names. So AMD, got to be patient with it. It did end up working out here. It looks like that weakness is starting to come into the market. It might not. It might mean the breakout in Palantir. We'll see what happens. I mean, if Palantir never breaks that high, then I don't get into the trade. If Rivian never breaks that top, I don't get into the trade. But I'm looking for those to be like squeeze breakouts to the upside as we check in on crypto and find out whether or not we get Coinbase 100 today, maybe.
Yeah.
Some interesting news from the world of crypto. The crypto market has seen net capital inflow for the first time in 17 months. So we basically have the top 4 stable coins. Those would be Tether, USD Coin, Binance USD, and DAI. These are all turned noticeably positive. This is the first instance this has happened since May 2022, and this is notable because since 2020, stable coins have been used to purchase cryptocurrency. So basically, if there is positive interest in stablecoin, we could have more of an increase in the crypto markets. That's definitely of note. In terms of Bitcoin, yeah, we are seeing some positivity right now. We are just dipping above that 36,000 right now. So yeah, crypto about 36,250 around that area. Ethereum above 2,000 as well. Everything else pretty mixed, but we also have to note Solana, which is up about 13.35% right now.
All right, just real quick here, guys. Still seeing just this week's data. They are actually showing, yeah, there it is now. So we are getting actually 2 weeks worth of data, it looks like, on the crude oil inventories. 3.6 million on the build there for this week. Anyway, 2 million was expected on the build side of things. Some of the gasoline inventory is just coming through there as well. So oil back to the upside right now.
Oil back to the upside, but EVs don't care about the oil markets these days. At least sometimes they don't. Rivian's still tracking in through that high. If you're wondering, like, I'm not long yet because it's not the high of the day that I was looking at. It was this level on the 15-minute at 17.35. That's where the good short was a couple of days in a row. That's where I think this has to get to really break some people out. This is where I think people are entering. Like if I was shorting this level, I'd be shorting it here to that 17.35. So I want it breaking out that top, and then we would engage. The long, definitely a chance that it could. Palantir, did we go? Almost. It's almost there, man. It's almost there, but it's not there just yet, unfortunately. It can get there. It's just a couple cents away from a breakout through 2030. If you look at what's still happening in the chips, we've been looking at AMD and Intel and ARM. NVIDIA is potentially rolling over off of the early support yesterday at 492. That just makes the chip short look a little bit better. If NVIDIA is retaking the low, then the other ancillary names look a little bit more enticing to me. Tobias is talking about CVNA, and Chris is mentioning Unity. That's one I totally forgot about. We were looking at that pretty heavily last week. Unity again. This has been, if you've been trying to short Unity, which I was on the first day at earnings, It is just stair-step upside. It's now breaking out another high and just continuing this march. What looks like 32, like all the way back into the most recent support level, like big support level would have been that 32. I don't think I even think about shorting this until 32. I don't know if we're at final long, to be honest with you. If these squeeze names are tricky, trying to buy them on highs. I guess you'll look for like VWAP or maybe the 30 level or previous breakout high, then stair step it to the upside. But 32 is the big level where I'd be thinking short if Unity got there.
So yeah, actually, I was supposed to look at Upstart a little bit. Okay, so this is how you stay positive on a name and how you can become a successful trader, right? And so there's Microsoft. We just took this. We took the majority of it out. We talked about that when it got to VWAP. That's exactly the trade that we wanted. So it came in. So we took a piece out. Then we tried it again right there at 369.75. That's what we always do. And then it dropped back in below 50. And we actually got a good fill there. We got 47s on the out. So 30 cents worth of a hit on a reload. And we don't have any spots. I mean, some of these were 30, 40 cents. So those are all good. And then that upside piece gets it to you. And then, yeah, man, X going to give it to you this way as well. Because there's another trade making some cash here. AMD. We're like, I'm actually, you know, going bigger on the time frame and not panicking to get out and things like that, and making sure that, again, for me, you know, share sizing right and making the right plays. Like, we're now up on AMD. I'm going to get another out here because it's kind of bouncing around. We'll just put another 40 bid. We're now up on AMD. You know, it was our worst stock, holding it against us. Up there into 119. We gave it about 10 more cents or so, and then it started to fall back down. Obviously, we were getting nervous and got a lot out there at VWAP, which was still very profitable. I mean, VWAP is like 60 there, so that was still a good out. We're pretty much there right now, but there's another out at 40. You know, keep in the pocket, keep trading the names that you want to trade, and all will be well. And you just watch out for the levels, right? And same thing with Google. Like, I have 5% left now. As these moves, actually, Google, we should be getting back long. Will this market bounce from here? Let's find out. But there's Google right now back into this area. That's 133.69. I thought I did have a bid on the, oh, I do have a bid. Hold on a second. My Siri bid is still in there. No, I do not. I just have bids on AMD. Okay, so yeah, let's watch out here. We're going to probably get some more work in on Google. Although the market's still underneath, like I'm really favoring the shorts. So that's kind of influencing my decision right now. But yeah, so far so good here. With trying to watch out for some of these markets and remaining calm. It's only 10:35. Still a lot of this day left. So we'll wait to see about AMD, possibly a reload position there off the 20 period. I'm going to wait, though, because it's been pretty volatile. We did this yesterday with OB. We waited, and we were able to get some big trades. So why don't we just do that again? We'll wait for 119 to come back here, and then debate taking that Google long.
Yeah, I mean, Google looks good. Apple actually, I'm going to get to Apple in a second. Apple's held up really well in that dip, but you'll see I'm out of SoFi. That long is gone. I'm into the Palantir. It broke 30. It broke that 20-30. Actually misplaced this. I punched in at 32 and then keystroked out flat with a bad stop order and then just jumped back in at 31. So I've basically paid fees in and out on Palantir there. But I'm now out of SoFi. It got to previous close. Previous close is 48, 1 cent higher, and then right back. So I'm out. Take the money and run. I think there's a chance. There's always a chance. If it bounces back off VWAP here and it can continue the stair step to the upside, I might look to rejoin that trend back in. So this one does hold up so very close. Like it was very close to taking out that previous support, and that's a theme. Like yesterday, big strong day, those support levels for buying have been good in either direction on multiple names. So I want to respect that where we get a chance to go. If you see any of those key previous levels on the previous day, I think you want to respect them. It doesn't mean you have to take trades off of them, but they can be good. We'll see what happens. Well, the arm is super strong, and I'll probably get stopped out here through this high. Again, this has been a monster level on arm up here. Every time it's gotten to 56, it's essentially been good. The 15 minutes not going to show you. There it is. On the daily chart, you can see what always happens at 56. But if it takes out that high from yesterday, I'm not holding it through. No, sorry, not yesterday, from last week. I'm not going to hold it through. It's about 10 cents from here on ARM. Super strong move to the upside. You can think whatever you want about the quarter and about the revenue and all that good stuff, but price action is price action. And this taking out that top is me getting out 100%. Rivian, there it goes. Wow, okay, you know what? I didn't have an order. I thought I had a stop on both these two, but it's still here, so I can still grab it on Rivian. It broke that 17.35. That's what we're getting at. So I'm in it now. Whether you get the stop or not, you're able to get the trade, breaking that 17.35 level here on Rivian.
All right, we did go back longer there. Yeah, Rivian's an absolute monster, man. Again, like we're gonna have one red stock today, and it's going to be the Palantir long at $20. Like, I still can't get over that. I gotta do a better job of getting over it, but there it is. It's a nice move up. We're still fine. I'm just kind of playing around. I mean, we are watching out for this AMD trade coming back. I think we could take a bid now. Let's just get a bid at 55. We're short 45 cents in the money. You know, and again, this is kind of the strategy. We've talked about this, the way I trade it. We'll use a little bit more shares, and when we get blown out, it does hurt, obviously. So that was going to be a pain trade there. But because we have so many shares on, we're able to do this. You know, get it out when we see fit. And then when it drops down, again, we still have shares on. So able to get more and more out. So just to talk about it, we have about 20% of our position left. That's it. So we are starting to get out of more and more shares here. Google trying to buy some, literally trying to buy some here at the dip of 133.65. We're right here right now. What's up, B?
Just quickly, guys, day highs here for Tesla. Biden administration going to make $3.5 billion available for battery production. So some of the EVs just popped up.
Is this just more pain for me right now? Because,
yeah, that's just...
Yeah, Tesla, we nailed that bottom.
That just turned to the top, though. What do you...
I mean, this is the thing. When you guys have bias towards one side, we always talk about that, at least, you know. This is, look, we only wrote down long. We wrote down this long right there. And unfortunately, it took view up. That was, I mean, it did go down after that move. So pretty hard to complain because we could have reloaded it right there. But there goes Tesla. Congratulations, anybody that followed the sticky note or anybody that just went long themselves, because that's a huge move. We gave the level. I'm really proud of it for myself. All that I'm really doing is thinking about, you know, are these levels accurate? You know, this is why the sticky note is there. Thanks to Nimit for doing those studies and everything on the sticky note. It's just about like hitting the levels and then having to execute around them. So we did that here. It was a good trade. Pretty happy with Tesla today. But again, look at that, man. Congratulations to anybody right here who held that, because that's a hell of a hot dog cannon trade for you. So thank you so much for that. And if you did hold that trade, and if you do like what we're doing for free here, make sure you do this.
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
Yeah, man, like and subscribe today, because Kat is here. There she is. I didn't say hi to her yet. Hey, Kat, what's going on with the thumbs up there? So, yeah, we're happy. We're going good, man. And again, if you only have one trade on today, I hope you did hold that Tesla, but a hard one for sure. Good news, 240, man. My long-term reload was at 205, so going good, but no chances of getting out. Sharif asked me yesterday, or Obi did, what are the chances of Tesla getting back to that 280 level? I said end of year. So here it goes, 244 right now. Nice move to the upside. And there goes Google, man. You want to talk about buying something? There it is. We bought some Google off that bottom again. So there it goes. Nice move for Google. Hey, man, when you're on one, you're on one. And right now, some of these plays in the big cap tech space are definitely working out as AMD heading back to the upside. So getting out and only holding that 20% pretty good there for AMD.
Yeah, it's time to bail on that AMD, it looks like to me. I'm not reloading off that level. We got it, and it looks like it's going to give you 60, 70 cents, and that's about it. So we'll risk the 25. I did get Rivian long on that breakout. It went right to 1750, and then the second Brent tell that story came right back in. So I took profit in front of that 1750. Now I want to get that stair step up. It could be squeezing to the upside here. Just remember why we're in it. If you look at this, we're going to get there in a second. Just want to give the trade here, guys. 1735, that's the breakout level. I think you got room to $18. The gap fill is 19, but 18 is perfectly reasonable here. But that break is showing signs of failing at 1750. If it doesn't hold the quarter, then I want to get back in at 17 even. Not holding it to 17, getting out if it goes 10 cents against, and looking for a new trade in. That's how I like to structure breakout trades, because I want them to work right away as we go to Sector Watch with Adara.
Sector Watch.
Pretty mixed across the board here right now for the sectors. There is quite a bit of weakness in general with some of these mega cap names, but what definitely is not weak right now. We do have Tesla leading the consumer durables segment. We just recently hit high of days on this one. Definitely keep an eye on this name. Also worth watching is the retail trade sector. Amazon a little bit weak here. TJX weak after earnings, but Target definitely leading the pack here with a lot of strength after earnings with its holiday projections. So keep an eye on that sector as well. Some mixed movement in finance, but mostly positive. We also have some mixed stuff going on in health technology, although Eli Lilly is definitely negative here, but there's lots of positivity throughout that sector otherwise. And then also, of course, with electronic technology and tech services, both a little bit more mixed, especially when you're looking at electronic technology with these chip names. We do have some weakness with NVIDIA and AMD here, but Intel is pretty strong right now on the day. Lots of stuff to watch right now, guys.
Oh, man, we did definitely reload that one, and there it is right now. Let's go again. We'll run the money through again on AMD on the reload there. So good trade as AMD comes in again for us, so that's pretty good. Google to the upside as well. It's too bad about that Microsoft that we got dumped out on that one. We'll punch out a little bit here on Google as we did get some 134s. We got 134.05, 03s there as that comes in. But look at this. There's the reload rate now for that. So we're cooking it up now on AMD. Let's see what happens here. Shorting again, 119.50 and bringing it back down. So this is going to be another green name here, hopefully, as we'll take some more out in the 80s. I mean, look, this is the undercover stuff that I'm talking about, right? We can have for you the $6, $7, $8 winners. We can have multiple dollars on Microsoft, whatever. But when these kind of plays come through, sometimes it's just worth scalping a little bit out. So here's like these little hidden undercover 20-cent winners here. Now 30-cent winners for this. As there goes AMD, we just got another bid. We just got 79s there, by the way. So far so good here. Another 30-cent winner. And we'll just keep on watching it. Damn you, Palantir. Damn you.
Yeah, it's still trying to go. It's at that high, but you're not really following through just yet. And when that gets to 50, like the even dollars are always big on that one. Speaking of this, is my segue to an even dollar. Do not mean to ignore something like NEO. NEO was up 6.5%, and it just broke $8. If you remember, $7 was a thing. $8 is this monster level. It's not a huge level, but it's a good level on NIO. So as much as I liked Rivian just now, Palantir taking out the high, I think NEO off the $8 level is more or less the exact same setup. I wouldn't take it because I feel like you have two of the exact same setup at this time of day, but if you like the 8, it's exactly the same thing as Rivian. It's crazy that it's a resistance level on the 15, rejection of a bottom break, and then a takeout of the top. That's what Rivian's doing. That seems like what NEO is doing. I do want to check back in on what I thought would have been an easy dip buy. Pinduo Duo, nothing. So I'm kind of scratching this one off the list. Unless something crazy happens throughout the day, I don't think we see the 112. It's relatively weak, up 2.5%, but it doesn't feel like it wants to give that big move where you could buy the dip. ARM does not take out the high, so short off this level. If it takes it out, that's 56.11, I think the actual wick high is. So if it breaks it out, we're just going to get out of the trade. I want this getting down into VWAP. So it's like, get into the 60s, get underneath 50, get out in front of VWAP. That's this trade I'm looking for here on ARM. Big move to the upside on this Soro news. Fair enough. I tend to think that kind of a catalyst, it's a decent one, but a lot of times profit taking will come in on monster levels on the daily. If that's not breaking out at 56, I'm not buying that top. A firm hasn't broken 27 yet, but this feels like a matter of time. I just saw John Reinhardt say affirm 27. It's this level above 27, like 27.17. Bit of a resistance level. You saw, well, a bit of one. It pulled back $2 the last time it was there. So I don't like the even dollar breakout on Affirm at all. I need it taking out the quarters and then continuing higher. Then you just join the move. I think it's easy to join the move once it's going parabolic. Like Rivian, you join $1 after it's already moved, then it just broke 17.56. I'm going to get some more offers out here as it continues its breakout. Joining the trend is easier than fighting the trend, last I checked.
And that's why we reloaded right there on, oopsies, no, get out, cancel, okay, good. On AMD. So there was the reload right there on AMD. Good, whoopsies, I keep sorting my blotter the wrong way. There it is right there. So we need to take some more out because this is making that move back up to the upside right now for AMD. So we've been taking it out. We're only short right now at 15. So let's put another bid here at 90, see if we can't take some of that out and then just move on from this trade and see where we go. So right now it's AMD. We're on it. We're seeing about getting out. So, but what's been going up now? We just tweeted this one out again. And there it is, man. Barbecuing up some kind of profits once again here for Google on the reload. So Google's actually profit-wise my #1 stock today. So again, you know, stuff that maybe wasn't on the Palantir should be, but names that weren't on the watch list for me, Google, good little level there. We took it. We've been reloading this name in and out, in and out, in and out. So good one there. And then holding, like not really too many scalp outs. That's the key for me right there. As we get ready to go soon. So I just want to say I am going to reload this against 119.50 for AMD. And I know that a lot of you are seeing the sort of style that I'm doing. And it's like I've only traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names today. And we're going to go 4 for 5. Okay, and it's just being specific and not getting too carried away. One thing I noticed about this show for myself is that like I get a little bit like distracted with everything. So being specific, putting this sticky note out, and thank you for everybody bugging me every morning in the chat. Where's the sticky note? Where's the sticky note? We're working on it. We're putting in the work for you, and we're finding the levels, right? And so that's, to me, that's what's very important. Not only that, coming up, we might as well start to advertise it because we did a little bit yesterday. Starting this Friday, it'll start with me and Brendan. Then I think it's going to go Neil, and then maybe Sharif after that. But we're going to have podcast time. So this Friday coming up, Sharif excited. This guy loves podcasts. We're going to have, whoops, I dropped the sticky note. We're going to have a podcast this Friday. So instead of the aftermarket recap show, it'll be me, myself, and I, and Brendan on the podcast. It should be a lot of fun. As we wrap up some of the week's news, we have a lot of fun. Be able to show our personalities, hopefully even more than here. And we're really excited about that. It's podcast time. And, you know, I'm pretty excited for it. Needless to say.
Darren is too.
I think a lot of people are very, very excited about this. And as you should be. I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And there goes AMD.
We got asked a lot of it.
Yeah, and right down there, yeah. I mean, the Q&A is so popular when I do the market recap show that I feel like, you know, being able to be a little bit more relaxed and be ourselves on the podcast is what people want. So there it is. We're here, and it's going to be a fun one.
I can't wait. I think it's one of those things where we got asked, I think the first time, like well over a year ago. And like, we wanted to make sure we got it right and had a plan of action for it. I want to get to Siri for a second. Siri's up 10%. Look, I mean, you want to give me the reason why Warren Buffett likes it. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm sure he has given the case and made an eloquent one. But it's got a double bottom here at 525 to VWAP. So 525 to 538, which is VWAP. I can respect it, but look at the stair step on the daily chart. It looks like a pretty clean, like technical breakout above 5 even if it's pulling back in. If it holds 25s at lunch, that's looking like a pretty good risk to reward style trade where you can just be long off 25, get the underfills on VWAP, and if it breaks back out, doesn't even have to go all the way up into that top. So I want to respect it if it can go there. Just going back over to the other breakout that we're in, potential breakout, that's going to be Palantir. It's now starting to fail that break. I always want these breaks to work right away. This is the keep stroking it out flat. But if we can't hold on to this 20 level, I'm just going to jump out of there. I'm going to get it out if it breaks underneath like 10 cents against me and then look for the next trade. It might still be good to 20, but I can always just get back in if it bounces off that 20 level. Rinse and repeat that trade if it wants to. AMD doesn't want to seem to stop out. ARM doesn't seem to want to stop out either. It was Apple that I wanted to get to. Then we got a little bit distracted. Apple almost 1%, breaking out on multiple time frames. 190 on the daily. I know it's a nasty looking daily chart. But 190 on the daily is huge resistance for Apple. If I see that this afternoon, or I guess at this rate, lunchtime, then 190 would be a level I'd look for the short on Apple. Super strong move to the upside there. And Intel broke the high, but we already got out of that one at 40.10. Sometimes I'd give this trade to there, but other times I say, hey, I might like the pullback idea, but I don't like it enough to give it the bigger stop. So we don't give it the bigger stop. If anything, Intel looks like a buy the dips off VWAP into 40, at least until 40.50. So I almost changed my tune and be the other way off that 40 level to be sure. So we're still in Rivian. We took out about half of it. It's trying to hold on to that breakout through 17.5. If it bounces another time off 17.30, I'd probably look to reload that one. Super strong day for some of the EV names. Not all of them. I mean, Tesla's up, Rivian's up, NIO's up. I mean, Fisker, that's still looking a little bit weak, but, you know, Fisker is in its own, like, that's the stock that was down 20% yesterday. So the fact that Fisker isn't breaking out should not necessarily surprise anybody.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, just a couple little reviews there of the EV space. I mean, it's not going to be hard for everybody to see where the number one stock here would be today for me is going to be Google. Reloaded, and now out at the 200 period. I mean, this has been an absolutely fantastic trade. It's too bad that we were waiting a little bit higher. I think we could put something here at 119.10, but this is not. The shares that I put here, I'm waiting for about 5 times more up here near 119.50. So if it gets going, man, that's going to be a level of concern for me up there near that 119.50. But so far, so good. Here today on AMD, it's again another profitable name. We only have one red name today, and it looks like that is going to be PLTR off that. And I'm just embarrassed for it. So good trading though. Tesla absolutely nailed that off the sticky note. We nailed so much, but we're going to right now go over and find out what's going on with Money Talks and Adara over at the big desk.
DXY slightly positive right now, coming off of its worst performance in over a year yesterday, reacting to the CPI data. We did get PPI and retail sales this morning, so we can go over that. The USA, the core PPI for month over month for October was 0% versus 0.3 expected and 0.2 prior, so definitely lower. In terms of core retail sales, those came in 0.1 for October versus negative 0.2 expected. We also have to look at the USD to the Great British Pound, because we actually did have UK inflation data coming in today. That ended up being at 4.6 for October 2023 versus the previous 2 months, which were 6.7%, so definitely a decrease. As you can see here, yeah, we are seeing a bit of a gain here on the USD to Great British Pound compared to that loss yesterday, guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, inflation data, across the globe, I think is coming in a little bit lighter. And so you're looking at some of those numbers and just like, it's like, bang, 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 bang. Everything's looking pretty decent. You are paying more attention. Obviously, you pay more attention to here because we care what the Fed does. But you don't completely discount that European inflation is also slowing down a little bit. Although every single time I'm at the table with my in-laws and say Europe and try to reference the fact that whether they're in the euro or not, that the UK is still in Europe geographically, they all yell at me because they're British. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what's up? You're still wrong. It doesn't matter. This KNTE, I do see it. I respect that it's going to the upside in enough names today. That's it. Like I'm not in any of these small cap gappers, runners, whatever name we're giving to these. It is a good stair step to the upside. You cannot complain. Very linear move, higher lows, holding VWAP, held $2, held VWAP once, held VWAP twice. Maybe it holds it thrice. It's also at a pretty big resistance level on the daily at 250. So if it holds through 250, fantastic for it. It's just not a name that I am likely to trade it. I want to get to this. Not AMD, it was ARM I wanted to get to. AMD's still off the same levels, but ARM is finally showing some signs of rolling back through this 56 level. I'm going to get some out here. So this is the last time it challenged it. So it broke by like 10 cents. And then had a double top at 55.55, so I have a bid in front of that level. If it breaks this, then I want to look for outs all the way into 55 even. So hopefully that'll give us the win to the downside on that name. Only 4 minutes to go, but it's been a wild morning, and it feels as if this market is doing everything it can to get back to that 16,000 level. So another one of these round trip mornings, break out the top, reject it, because that's what we do early. You always reject the first move. Well, I shouldn't say always. This market seems to always want to reject that first move, whether it's at 8:30 or whether it's at 9:30. And that's what happened. You hold on to 15.9. If we take out 16,000 again, you probably don't want to fight the short too much. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that. The way this market was yesterday, for it to wick that high, that's a lot of people liking a short setup after a day like yesterday. For it to hold 15.9, then break back out. Apple 190 in play, Tesla 250 in play, Microsoft, whatever the hell. I don't even know the levels on Microsoft if it breaks the high. Meta, you get the idea. You don't want to be fighting that if 16,000 goes. You can pick your spots in the weak names, but you might want to leave the Mag 7 alone if we're taking out 16,000 again. If you're shorting, obviously the longs will be working.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything's easy because it's not, but this AMD trade is pretty easy. We just shorted again 119.10. So now there's another 25 cents, and we just take some more out right now. So I mean, there we go, man. In what was a name that we were not scared of earlier or anything like that, but we definitely were trading this name. It's AMD, and there it is back down in. So we'll put another sort of feather in our cap here on AMD as it just continues to make that move back. So so far so good. There it is. Like we just shorted it right there. I said that we were going to do it. It's too bad that we didn't. I said we were only going to do it with like 30% of hours there, but we did. We did put it on, and there it is right now. It's too bad because now it's just 40 cents back into the money right there. So it's like, sometimes traders will struggle to make 30, 40 cents, 10 cents, 5 cents. You just got to be on the right names. And, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. And like I said, that's why the odd time, when you put on more shares, you can get run over if you're wrong. But, have faith in what you're doing. And the more books and everything, I've never really read any trading books, and honestly, in 21, 22 years. But the more and more older I get and things like that, I did read. Yeah, Brian Shannon's book is 1 year old. So that's a book I read. I gave it to Adara as well to read. So I want her to read that AVWAP book. I think there's a lot of exciting things in there. The only book I ever really read was Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. I did read and the next couple are just audio ones, but One Good Trade. And then right now it's Market Wizards. I can't remember what I'm listening to now. But anyways, it's all about the mental. It's not really about anything else, because I know I can put on the trades, just like that Palantir trade. And that's why we put the sticky note out every single day, right? Is trying to, for my own self as well, trying to make sure that I look at the right names. And so far, so good, right? I mean, like AMD, we were looking at that. We've been biased short. We talked about that. Look at this. Boom. Short. Profitable name. Google. Reloaded at the levels that you like. Perfect. Tesla, come on. $11 in the money. Palantir hit the level dead on. Didn't trade it well because we're in the pre-market. Only red name today. And then Microsoft at 370. Hit that one as well before it eventually broke and got out. So, we've really vamped our trading around, and it's definitely paying off right now. How will you watch? Here we go. I just saw this. How will you watch or listen to your podcast? I'm audio only all the time, so I will just go that right there. So that's how I'll be watching it right there, and we will dismiss this.
I voted for the Saturday morning. There's a bit of a routine that happens when I wake up with my daughter Saturday. Like after we play for a little bit, she tends to want to. She always likes. I used to do Saturday morning cartoons like religiously, and she always wants to get hers in. If it's something I like, I'll tend to watch it. A lot of times when she gets her TV time for like a half an hour or hour Saturday morning, that's my chance to listen. I listen to a podcast or maybe I'll read some articles. So that's when I like to go over stuff. And it is what it is. But you consume it any way you want. We don't care as long as you consume it, as long as you enjoy it. We'd like to take suggestions too. Like if you have any topic ideas, we like that. You're gonna see. You're not gonna get a chance to see it because we already flipped over. I'm now out of Rivian. It just got to 1775 and put a bit of a reverse, exactly 1775. So I threw a trail in there and got right out. It was a good breakout. It's still continuing. And then ARM, we did get that first leg out in front of 55.6. So again, you've got to be able to sort of, patience matters. When a stock is screaming against you, wait for the right level and then trade it in the other direction. Only when it gives you your entry point, because ARM is super strong today. And I think it could hold 55 and still be a long. This could still be a long. I just like to pull back into this 55 level as we go on
clearly
over.
News here about AMD or something. So things are absolutely ripping right now.
Yeah, I just got out
come
of
over to my
AMD.
screen. We don't have to go over there right yet. Nothing, but there's the move upside right here. So we are about to get out. Just letting you guys know. There it is. So there's the out. We got out there. AMD going absolutely ham right now. There has to be something, I would say, largest move of the day right here. One single candle. Nice move to the upside as we get ready to rock and roll. Obviously, it's AMD, all about that. Here it is. New AI. Okay, so new customers, new AI to customers with Microsoft with AMD. Brendo?
Foundry service on Microsoft Azure specifically for entrepreneurs. So NVIDIA, again, introducing generative AI Foundry service on Microsoft's cloud.
All right. All right, so there it is right there, man, and there's the out, right? So again, you can watch your stocks, you can trade them, but you have to have
Always
your outs.
have an out.
And there it is right there. So now we're ready to go. So let's go over to the other show. It's the midday show. It's an education stream. You got to go find it. We will transfer you over. If it does not, go to Trader TV Live on YouTube. What's up, Sharif?